Terry Collins and Joe Girardi bring their teams in red hot. It's the start of the July 4th weekend, and while some are heading down to the shore, some are heading out to the Hamptons, the Mets and Yankees are getting together for some baseball. They met back in May at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees took 2 out of 3. The Mets have been playing wonderfully, scoring a lot of runs of late. The Yankees have been the hottest team in baseball. The young guys and the old guys all ready to go for a weekend of baseball. Intercity at Citi Field. At Citi Field in New York, Pix 11 Sports presents New York Mets baseball tonight. The Mets play the New York Yankees. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. I'm Gary Cohen. Ron Darling and Keith Hernandez join me in just a moment as the Mets and Yankees open their 3-game interleague series, second time around for the Subway Series this year, and both teams are hot. The Mets are 19-16 since the last meeting with the Yankees, and they scored 54 runs in their last 5 games. The Yankees are 23-11 since they last faced the Mets, and they have the best record in baseball right now in the American League. And so the Mets and Yankees get together, and it's a Mets lineup that's caused a lot of grief for opposing pitchers. This is a lineup where everybody seems to be able to hit in any part of the batting order except for Jose Reyes and Carlos Beltran. They've all been hitting line drives, taking pitches, drawing walks, and creating havoc in a lot of different ways.
Well, it's taken a long time for them to mold a team for this stadium, and you can win outside of this stadium, this large stadium, and win in smaller ballparks. They are taking a lot of pitches. They're going deep in counts. They bought into Dave Hudgens' hitting style, his hitting philosophy. Reyes has been the spark. I think the big reason that they're doing this, so many, like you said, interchangeable parts in the lineup is the fact that everybody's hungry in this team. There's a lot of young players on this team. Turners, Tejadas. Murphy was out all last year. Jason Bay is hungry. So, and even you've got the manager who's had a long hiatus from being out of baseball as far as on the big league levels, in the managing level. He's hungry. So it's translating on the field. I like what I saw. I watched every game on the road.
And even yesterday, when the Mets were beaten by Justin Verlander, one of the best pitchers in the game, they still gave him grief. And I guess the question is right now, if you're attacking this Mets lineup, how exactly do you go about that?
Well, it really presents a lot of challenges, and it gives a lot of pitchers frustration. Why? Well, this team takes a lot of pitches. They don't hit a lot of home runs, so the walks they get, they really earn. And also, when you look at the Mets, they're one of those teams that fouls off a lot of pitches. So you get into deep pitch counts, just like Verlander did yesterday. So for most starting pitchers so far this year, it's presented real frustration, especially for the starting pitchers.
Now, the starting pitcher for the Mets today is John Neese, who had to leave his last start in Texas because of a rapid heartbeat. The Mets don't think that's an issue, but clearly they'll have to keep an eye on that.
Well, they'll try to monitor that. They thought it was accelerated by the heat. Started 0-3, and now has gone 7-3 in his last 12 starts. And he's going up against Ivan Nova. Ivan Nova has been outstanding for the Yankees. 7 wins himself. The last 2 years, when he starts, the Yankees have been 15-7.
So it's the Mets and the Yankees getting together. July 4th weekend baseball at Citi Field. From borough to borough, from both sides of the city, baseball convenes in Flushing. All the action on Pix 11. one at your Tri-State Ford dealers today. By Dunkin' Donuts. To get dunked, go to getdunked.com. That's GETDUNKD.com. By Audi, truth in engineering. By Verizon Fios. Switch to Fios and network ahead. To learn more, visit Verizon.com/getFios. By Suzuki. See the Ultimate Wave Tahiti IMAX film now at the Liberty Science Center in Jersey City. Brought to you by Suzuki Automotive. And by Citi. What's your story? Citibank can help you write it. Hitting the road, take the Mets with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Mets game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Mets.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Well, the atmosphere is electric here at Citi Field as John Neese takes the mound against the New York Yankees this afternoon. It'll be Neese's first ever appearance against the Yankees, and he'll be amped up. Hopefully not too amped up. Mets and Yankees coming up. Dealer near you.
Well, when Reyes scores in the first inning, the Mets are 15-4 with 19 runs. 2-out production there with runners in scoring position. RBI situation, they're hitting .437. And Neese needs his curveball working. Of course, that is his best pitch. And when he's using it a lot, he gets the strikeouts.
And he's had trouble with that curveball over his last couple of starts. The Yankees starting lineup brought to you by Suzuki. The Yankees over the last 19 games averaging over 6 runs per game. Nick Swisher in the leadoff spot for the 4th time this year with Derek Jeter out. He and Brett Gardner are sharing that role. Gardner not playing tonight against the left-hander. Mark Teixeira yesterday hit his 300th career home run. Alex Rodriguez has 626, 4 behind Ken Griffey for number 5 all time.
Well, Jonathan Neese coming off that win in Texas. The rapid heartbeat, they'll try to monitor that today, but he has been outstanding. 7-3 in his last 12 starts. He's got his ERA all the way down to 3.5.
And we'll look at the defense, brought to you by Audi, Truth in Engineering, and the 80th game of the season, and that leads the team. Mr. Beltran out there in right field. Boy, who would have thought that when the season started? Remember, he hardly played any games in spring training, and here he is leading the team at the halfway point, Gary. We're halfway home.
And you can hear that the crowd here is revved up and ready to go. For the first time in the history of Citi Field, they sold standing room only tickets for this game to get a few extra people in the ballpark, and they are making noise on both sides early. Nick Swisher began the season so poorly, red hot in June, and now we start July, and Neese's first pitch is off the plate for ball 1. Swisher in June hit .326 with 7 of his 10 home runs, with a .445 on base percentage. And you know, we were talking in the open about the Mets' approach. The Yankees had a lot more home runs than the Mets do, but the approach is pretty similar.
The approach is very similar. They try to work the count. They look for walks too. The difference is they hit a lot of 3-run home runs, 2-run home runs. That's Kevin Long, their hitting coach.
Yankees with 116 home runs. That leads the major leagues. And Swisher takes it wide, and Nice is behind 3-1.
Well, both teams lead their leagues in walks. So very unusual here. High on-base percentage, both squads.
And Nice catches the outside edge. Jerry Lane is the home plate umpire, and he has a very slow right hand, and Swisher was headed for first base before Nice got the call.
It's almost like that little backdoor cutter, four-seamer from Nice that just caught maybe the outside corner. Swisher usually is one of the best eyes in baseball.
Hitting .338 from the right side of the plate, just .213 lefty. And he hits one right back through the middle, and Swisher has led off the game with a base hit.
Well, John fell behind here in the first at bat and had to come in with fastballs.
There's your umpiring crew for today's game. Lane, the crew chief, has the plate. Walking Bob Davidson, Brian Knight, and Ted Barrett are your base umpires. Here's Curtis Granderson, 21 home runs, 3rd in the American League. 56 runs batted in, tied for 5th in the league, and he leads the American League in triples, only 7. He takes a fastball for a strike, and unlike last year when lefties were a real nemesis for him, Granderson has really started to feast on lefties this year. 9 of his 21 home runs have come against left-hand pitching, and he hits this one into right field, a base hit for Granderson. Swisher will stop at second, and the Yankees have the table set against John Nice. First and second, and nobody out, and Mark Teixeira coming up. Teixeira leads the majors in home runs. It is 25th yesterday against Milwaukee. 63 RBIs, second in the American League. This is a team that scores a lot of runs and can score them in a hurry. So an early crisis for John Nice. And he comes inside to Teixeira, 1-0.
Boy, Teixeira really pronounced open stance from the right side of the plate. It's almost like he's, look at that, like facing the pitcher, almost getting that foot out of the box, the front foot.
Keith, strike 1-1.
Keith, he believes in the way he hits. He likes to get both eyes on the pitcher. Some hitters like to just get that really one eye.
Well, I bet you his dominant eye is his right eye, and that's probably why he's so open from that side.
Good breaking ball by Nice, and it's 1-2. Not only are both eyes facing the pitcher, they're wide open.
See, you can't hit the ball with the eyes closed. His eyes were wide open, just went for a bad curve. Ah, the Mayor's here, I see.
1-2. Line the other way, a base hit for Teixeira, and the Yankees will take the early lead. Swisher is in. Granderson is being waved around third as Beltran has trouble getting it out of the corner. It's a 2-run double for Mark Teixeira, and 3 batters into the game. The Yankees have a 2-0 lead. So Teixeira with a 2-run double. The first run of the game brought to you by the all-new Chevy Cruze. Find the Cruze and 9 other Chevy models with 32 MPG at ChevyOffers.com.
Well, not a good 1-2 pitch. Right down the middle. And that's just good hitting right there. 2 strikes on you going the other way. A ball he could have pulled. And that's his 64th and 65th RBI of the season.
So Nice getting ambushed in the opening inning. And Terry Collins just paid a visit to the mound.
Well, think about it this way. Mets have a young team out there. They have a young pitcher who's never faced the Yankees, playing in an electrified atmosphere. This Yankee team does this weekly.
So now Nice will face Alex Rodriguez, who hasn't been hitting many home runs lately, but he has been hitting.
Oh boy. And that's where you got to pitch Alex. A big, strong guy, obviously. You got to get him inside. And Nice just overpowered him with that fastball.
93 miles an hour. He's throwing harder than he generally does early in games. And that tells you that he's a little
amped,
adrenaline pumped. And he's ahead on A-Rod 0-2. 94 from Nice. A-Rod over the last 17 games hitting .397. Only 2 home runs in that stretch, but he has been getting hits, particularly with runners in scoring position. Look at that stretch. 14 for his last 24. Robinson Cano on deck. And the curveball just missed. 1-2.
Well, it's good to see him throw that curve. Guys, sometimes I've had many a game you go out there with a great fastball, you feel amped up, and it leads to your demise because you stay away from your other pitches.
He's had trouble with that curve his last 2 starts. Battled through it in Texas. Got a ton of run support. Won the game 14-5.
Interesting here. John is letting it air out early, Ronnie. He's throwing, I'd say, 90% fastball.
Well, the Mets just came back from a very successful road trip. They've been playing well for the better part of a month. Starting pitching has been the starting point for all that. Down to third, a tough pop, and Turner comes in to grab it and throws out A-Rod for the first down of the game. Turner a little undecided at first whether to stay back for the second hop.
Well, you're right. A little indecision. There's a stutter step, but then he come in hard, Garrett, to get that short hop.
You see the release by Jonathan Nice. The ball has a lot of break on it. That's why even a ball in the middle of the plate fooled Rodriguez.
So 1 away. Teixeira still at second with 2 runs home, and here's Robinson Cano, just 4 for his last 23, hitting a .289 for the year.
However, hitting .337 against left-handers. This guy can hit lefties. And you say, why? Because he stays in. He's got a quick bat, and he's a good breaking ball hitter too. And he uses all the ballpark against the left-handers. More of a pull hitter against right-handers.
One thing he does also, Keith, if he's facing a left-hander and he's facing the ball middle of the plate away, he will hit the ball the other way. He can go coast to coast.
And now he's got himself with a 2-0 count with Russell Martin on deck. He's just trying to settle in. And there's a strike, 2-1.
Well, if he can just stop the bleeding right here with 2 runs and getting the dugout and get a breather. The way the Mets have been hitting, the Mets are facing the back end of the rotation of the Yankees, so that rotation fell in their favor, and you're at this big ballpark.
Cano hits one toward the left field corner. Bay on the run, and he won't get there. Teixeira will score. Cano cruises into second with an RBI double, the 4th hit of the inning, and the Yankees have a 3-0 lead. So Cano taking it the other way for his 18th double and his 52nd run batted in.
Well, we talked about him using the whole field, Ronnie and I, and here's an example. That's a slider, has too much plate, too flat. Slider gets a slider, right, RJ?
Cutter slider in between, which is not good.
Right, and stayed on the same plane, and there he is, slicing it down the opposite field, down the left field line.
So John Nice, who had allowed 2 earned runs or less in 10 of his last 13 starts, has already given up 3. Still only 1 out. And Russell Martin, the batter, and he takes a strike. Martin has 10 home runs, but he's been struggling to get hits lately. See, just 185 in the month of June. Cano at second and 1 out. And the cutter bounced foul, and it's 0-2. Interesting what you said a moment ago, Ronnie, that it was sort of a half cutter, half slider, and that's not a good thing.
No, it's not, because the hitters can recognize it. A pure cutter is one of those that you don't see. It just moves off your bat at the last second.
So from a hitter standpoint, it doesn't have that dot that you see from a slider?
It has a little bit of a dot, Gare, but that just didn't move much, and it stays on the same plane.
Off the fists. Turner will field it and throws out Martin for the second out.
Gary, just to expound on that, when you're a left-hand hitter, the breaking ball is going to break away from you. You don't have to worry about it coming in on your hands and jamming you. So if it breaks away, you can extend your arms out to get it. And if it starts out at belt level or knee level and stays in the same level breaking away, it's easy to get a beat on it, as opposed to something that has a little tilt to it.
But a cutter by its nature generally doesn't dive. It generally does stay on the same.
Well, yeah, but you don't see any kind of spin on it. It shouldn't. It should be a fastball spin.
So now with Cano at second and 2 out, here's Andrew Jones getting the start against the left-hander. Only 25th start of the year for Andrew, who's now 34 years old. In the lineup instead of Brett Gardner tonight. So they take out Gardner's speed and put in Jones's power potential. There's Brett Gardner, who's really had a good year for the Yankees.
Gardner's a good player.
And Andrew hits one toward the middle, and there's Tejada to pick it off to finally put an end to the inning. But a difficult opening inning for John Neese as he gives up a 3 spot. Mark Teixeira taking one down the line for a 2-run double, and Cano going the other way. He drives in a run with a double as well. 3-0 Yankees. Justin Turner back in there after taking yesterday off. Lucas Duda not playing despite a right-hander on the mound, but Terry Collins says he'll be in there tomorrow. But focus coming into this series on Jose Reyes, who had about as remarkable a month in June as anybody's had in a long time.
Well, Ivan Nova this season, 8 of his 15 starts, he's gone 6 innings or less, but he's getting 6 runs per game. Maybe that's the reason he has those 7 wins. But in his career, the last 2 seasons, when he starts, these Yankees are 15-7.
Well, here is Reyes now hitting .352 after 2 more hits yesterday. 121 hits. And he bluffs the bunt on the first pitch curveball for ball 1.
Very interesting pitch selection against the hottest hitter in baseball.
And look at Granderson out here. That is very, very shallow in center field.
And particularly with Reyes' propensity for hitting that gap in right center for triple.
That is .415 out to over his left shoulder, .408 behind him. It's a big ballpark.
And you know, Curtis Granderson is an outstanding offensive player. He's not one of the elite center fielders.
Justin Turner on deck, then Carlos Beltran as the Mets try to fight right back after an early haymaker. And it's chopped toward the hole. Nunez to his right. The stumbling throw is high and stays in play. So Reyes will scramble back to first. Now Nunez, who has made a lot of errors during his tenure taking over for Jeter, won't be charged with an error here, but that's a terrible throw.
It looks like he got nervous with Reyes running. That's just a lollipop he threw over there. And you got to give him a hit, and they're going to give Jose a hit.
Oh, he'll get a hit for sure, but Nunez, this is his 22nd start at shortstop. He's already made 9 errors.
I will tell you, Gary, when I watch him play, he's a very tall, angular player, and sometimes doesn't look like he's real flows out there.
And we'll take a look at the defense brought to you by Audi Truth in Engineering, and you can see Jeter out of the lineup, and Nunez getting the start. We just talked about that. Teixeira, the Gold Glover, over at first base. A-Rod's won a Gold Glove.
Tonight, Justin Turner, Reyes with 30 steals, got caught yesterday in Detroit by Justin Verlander and Alex Avila. Turner has really cooled down, just 14 for his last 73. That's a 192 clip. He's been bothered by a sore right thumb. His on-base percentage down to 337. He lines this one into center field, a base hit. So the Mets get the first 2-man on, just as the Yankees did at the top of the inning.
Well, this has the makings of a wild and woolly ball game. And the Mets, a lot of fight right down the pipe. Turner does what he does well and does best. He plays that ball to the opposite field wonderfully. He can drive it.
That ball came off the bat. I thought Cano had a chance to catch it, but he just gave up on that ball. So the Mets get back-to-back hits from Reyes and Turner, and here is Beltran, who had a terrific month of June. Very quietly, he had 26 RBIs in the month of June. That's the 3rd highest total of his career for any month. 54 now for the year, 6th in the National League. And he takes it away from Nova, ball 1. What was fascinating about Beltran's month is that he drove in Reyes 14 times. That's the most times that any Met has ever driven in any other Met in any month.
Take him out to dinner.
But Beltran pops this one up. Infield fly rule if it's fair. And A-Rod, no communication issue there with Martin. But A-Rod stayed with it. He thought it would have been out anyway because it was a fair ball on the infield fly.
I think that A-Rod was a little more concerned with Martin's helmet. And Martin pulled off, but his helmet was close by. I think out of the corner of A-Rod's eye, he may have saw the helmet. No, I don't think so. He's all right.
I don't think A-Rod took charge. That was the problem there. He's got to make that play. Martin, it's too long of a play for a catcher.
I wonder whether Alex had trouble seeing that.
Maybe, yeah.
So now Daniel Murphy, who's been raging hot, he's got an 8-game hitting streak, hitting .455 over the 8 games, and he had 10 RBIs in the last 5 games on the road trip. And he takes it high for ball 1.
And he's got his average over 300 again.
It was a very productive trip for Murph. Had a couple of huge hits in that Wednesday night win in Detroit late in the game. First and second and 1 out. Nunez trying to keep Reyes close. And Nova finds the knees 1-1.
Well, Nunez is doing a great job keeping Reyes. I mean, he is just practically in his back pocket.
Unlike Detroit yesterday, the Yankees are making sure they're identifying Reyes and keeping them in his sights, or their sights.
Of course, it gets a little distance in the hole there for Murphy to shoot out on the left side.
That's a beautiful thing for Daniel Murphy.
And trying to go that way. 1-2. 95 miles an hour from Nova that time. Angel Pagan, who's also been swinging the bat well, had a hot series in Detroit, waiting on deck. The Mets have scored 54 runs in their last 5 games. And we talked about it during the open. Even though they lost yesterday, they really had a good day against Justin Verlander. Some quality at bats. Now the 1-2, and Murphy chops one. Might be a double play. Cano with the step and the toss for 2. 4-4-3 on the double play. Gets Nova out of the inning. So the Mets get the first 2-man on and are turned aside. Experience a network built to bring you more of everything you love. More HD, more internet speed, more control of your entertainment. Fios, a network ahead. Call 1-888-GET-FIOS. Second inning, Eduardo Nunez, the number 8 hitter, drops down a perfect bunt, and Turner has no chance. Should have put that ball in his pocket. And Nunez has himself a bunt hit to start the second inning.
Well, nice play by Nunez. He might have hurt himself a little bit there down the line. A little grimace, but that's a perfect drag bunt.
Not a very good reaction by Nice, but I guess he didn't have much of a play anyway.
Well, it's not a reaction by Nice, but also in the scouting reports, Turner can't be playing deep third base. He's got to be even, at least even with the bag.
So now Ivan Nova, who has had just 3 big league at bats, struck out all 3, will be asked to bunt.
Ronnie, did you always feel that when you got, of course you didn't play in the inner league, but when you have pitchers up there, it's more difficult to bunt a breaking ball if you had a bad bunter up there?
Yeah, but I always prided myself, and I had you at first base, that I would throw it right down the middle. I want them to bunt it. We're going to make that play at second base 9 times out of 10.
Turner coming in hard, and Nova fouls it back. And now it's 1-2.
Well, here's interleague play when the American League really shows that their pitchers are really inexperienced with a bat in their hand.
I have to tell you, Met pitchers haven't looked much better at the plate this year. You know the Met pitchers are 1 for their last 75?
That's scuffling.
1 for 75. So I don't know how much of an advantage they have tonight. Nice bunt by Nova. It gets the job done with 2 strikes. 2-4 on the sacrifice, moving Nunez to second.
Well, no sooner than I open my big mouth than he puts down a perfect bunt.
I will say, though, for the Yankees, it's always got to be a weird thing as you see, well, his heart and other parts of his body aren't into it, but he gets the ball down. But whenever they have their pitchers hit, they lost one of their best pitchers at the top of his game, Shin-Min Wong, when he was base running in an interleague game.
So now Nick Swisher bats with a runner in scoring position. Swisher led off the game with a base hit to center field. Came around to score on Teixeira's double. The Yankees put up a 3 spot in the first, and now looking for more in the second. Swisher not happy with Jerry Lane's first pitch strike call.
Well, to me it's a strike because the rule book says it's the letters, but they don't call that. Now Jerry Lane is consistent with it, and you have no gripe.
Swisher leading off tonight, and conspicuous by his absence in this series is the Yankees' regular leadoff hitter Derek Jeter, who was supposed to play for Tampa tonight, but they got rained out. He's supposed to now play 2 games for Trenton the next 2 days, and hopefully for the Yankees be activated Monday when they go to Cleveland. But it's very strange to have a Mets-Yankees series with Jeter not in attendance. After all, and then Swisher banks one off his leg and knocks himself down.
Well, you can see how damaging this pitch can be. Just broke in on the hands of Swisher and right off his foot.
You got him on, I think, on the inner ankle, inside part of the ankle, and that hurts. That's all bone there, and that hurts. A little instep. It's a better place.
Joe Girardi and the longtime Yankee trainer Gene Monahan out to have a look.
Gene should come out with a little dirt and rub it in that wound.
St. Gene's from the Tom McKenna School.
Gene's retiring after this season.
Yeah. He's been a mainstay for the Yankees for decades.
Great man. Great trainer.
So now Nice ahead of Swisher, 0-2. And it's in there for a call strike 3. Got him looking at the fastball after he banged the curveball off his foot.
Well, ahead in the count, pop him inside, right to the glove, tied him up. Tip your hat. Good pitch.
When you have a guy fouling that hard off his leg, you always pop him back inside. Try to swing again. See if you can hit it off your leg again.
So Nice has his first strikeout. Now Granderson bats with 2 out and Nunez at second. Granderson poked a single into right field his first time up and came around to score. We mentioned that Granderson has 21 home runs. He was the fastest Yankee outfielder to get to 20 home runs since Marison Mantle 50 years ago. It's amazing, isn't it? With all the power the Yankees have had over the last 50 years, that it's Granderson who gets to 20 home runs, the fastest since Marison Mantle.
And this is a guy last year that could not hit lefties, and they almost benched him.
Well, Kevin Long worked some magic, I'll tell you that. There's strike 1 and 2.
Well, they're looking for breaking ball here, and they're getting caught with knees just powering through with just fastballs.
And the 1-2 curve is in there for a call, strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for John Neese. So he's finding himself. Now the Mets will try and put up some offense in the bottom of the second, down 3. Save 10% on box office ticket prices and sit in the same seat for each game. Choose the pack that fits your schedule. Get to Mets.com for your tickets now. And hearing the music under that promo, Meet the Mets. The woman who co-wrote Meet the Mets, Ruth Roberts, passed away today at the age of 84. She was a great songwriter in her day, writing for the McGuire sisters, for Patti Page, wrote a song for the Beatles, and in addition to all her other work, co-wrote Meet the Mets.
A longtime baseball fan. She also, did she co-write the Dodger song? Beautiful Day for a Ball Game, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. So our condolences to Ruth Roberts' family on her passing, but you know, along with Jane Jarvis, she probably had more to do with the sound of the Mets than anybody else. Ivan Nova working to Angel Pagan, leading off in the home second. The Angel had 8 hits in the 3 games in Detroit. He hits this one out to left, and Andrew Jones goes back to grab it. Well, he may not move like he used to, but he's still got those same graceful strides in the outfield, doesn't he?
Still makes it look easy, doesn't he? Wow.
So Pagan retired, 1 away. And here's Jason Bay. Over his last 13 games now, Bay is hitting .340 with 10 RBIs in those 13 games.
And you can see the average creeping up ever so slowly. It's been a long grind for Jason this year.
Had 2 hits off Verlander yesterday. He also had 2 hits off Nova the first time the Mets faced him this year. In fact, that game the Mets faced Nova at Yankee Stadium, they got 11 hits off him in 6 2/3, but they scored only 3 runs. All 3 coming in the second inning, and they had a lead in that game late before that 8-run inning the Yankees put up against Mike Pelfrey and the bullpen. Ronnie Polino waiting on deck. Well, those are the career high numbers for Jason. Probably won't be able to approach any of those this year, but he's just trying to get back to respectability and inching forward week by week. Certainly the grand slam in Detroit was a step in the right direction, even if he thought it was a foul ball.
He did.
Now Nova with a 1-2, and he takes one the other way, and that's a base hit. So Bay has himself a 1-out single, the Mets' third hit off Nova.
Well, Jason here, this ball kind of backs up. Well, you're kind of right. Watch, he kind of wants to fall back, but it stays in at the last minute. And that's a hanging curveball that kind of crowded him inside, then broke out late over the middle. So it's another good sign of Jason getting on track.
Lino takes the first pitch curveball for ball 1. Ronnie now hitting at 346. His last game was on Wednesday, and he had 4 hits in that game. That was his maiden voyage as a cleanup hitter for New York. Hitting 7th in the order today. And Polino takes the fastball for a strike.
You know, right now, the fastball, it looks like Nova is kind of locating pretty good, particularly on the outside corner to right-hand hitters.
Well, he's thrown a lot of curveballs early in counts. Did it right from the first batter of the game. It's notable on Nova that in his last start against Colorado, he gave up 3 home runs, all to right-hand batters.
He started hanging breaking ball to Bay. That's probably one of the reasons.
One thing, he didn't win the game, but the Yankees did. He got no decision. 4 runs in 6 innings, but 3 home runs.
Keep an eye on Nova's shoulder. He almost seems to me on his curveball, he gets a little more tilt on his shoulder. See if he's tipping here.
Well, he got ahead on Bay 1-2. And Bay hit the curveball the other way for a base hit. Now he's 1-2 on Polino with Ruben Tejada on deck. Two and two.
It's almost like the scouting report that Nova got before the game was about 30% fastball, 65 or 70% breaking balls against this hot Mets offense.
Polino takes one the other way for a base hit. Day will go first to third on Swisher, who doesn't have a good arm. And the Mets have runners at the corners with 1 out.
Well, that's what Polino does well. He goes the other way also, much like Turner. And really, I think a poor pitch selection ahead of the count from the beginning off of Polino, then pitching into his strength. I mean, that's a good outside corner pitch. He probably wanted it lower, had the corner, but Polino just sets up away and goes that way nicely.
And Bay doing what the Mets have done so successfully, going first to third. It's been a big part of their game.
Well, it's a big ballpark, and take advantage of it.
So now Ruben Tejada, who had a nice road trip, went 6 for 19 in Texas and Detroit and drove in 4 runs. Looking to pick up Bay from third with 1 out. Yankees have the infield at double play depth. They turn to double play to end the first. Well, the Mets have sent 7 batters to the plate and picked up 4 hits against Nova. So this parade of base hits, which characterized Terry Collins' road trip, continuing the first 2 innings tonight. Line drive center field base hit, and the Mets will get their first run of the night. Day comes in to score 3 straight hits by the 6, 7, and 8 hitters as Tejada drives one home, and now it's 3-1 Yankees.
3 straight rockets, and all off fastballs out over over the plate. He wants to throw those righties away. He's getting the ball up, and it's straight as a string.
You know what's interesting, Keith? Nova is a sinker ball pitcher, and he is throwing a four-seam, almost cutting type action on that fastball, and it's not working.
Now the Yankees will group at the mound to talk about bunt defense with John Neese coming up. Larry Rothschild, the Yankee pitching coach. Their pitchers have outperformed expectations this year. There's no question about that. They've got a true ace in CC Sabathia. A.J. Burnett has had a comeback year, but most importantly, Nova and Garcia and Colon have given them more than they ever could have anticipated.
And can you expect it all year?
That, I think, is going to be a big question. They're going to have Phil Hughes coming back soon. That should help. So Neese showing bunt, first and second, one out, and he bunts it foul. We mentioned the Mets' ungodly bad numbers from their pitchers hitting lately. 1 for 75 since May the 10th. The only hit in that span belongs to Neese.
Interesting, the defense here. A-Rod is really being aggressive.
Yes.
Coming in real deep, Keith, and going to go back if it's not a good bunt.
Certainly not going to play a wheel here. Now it's 0-2 to John. Not only have the Met pitchers not been hitting well, they have been bunting well. And Terry's had them out on 2 or 3 occasions over the last week, just working on bunting practice, trying to get them back in some kind of good groove.
Well, A-Rod's backed off now, and my feeling is it's still the pitcher's going to bunt with 2 strikes.
He's set to swing the bat, but he takes the breaking ball for strike 3 call. And Nova has his first strikeout. So Neese can't get the bunt down. Now 2 out.
Well, he's going to do the little butcher boy here, as it's called, and the curveball says hello.
Well, you're supposed to have an advantage when the rules favor your league. It hasn't happened as Nova got the bunt down and Neese did.
So it's left to Reyes, who at Minfield hit his first time up. With that infield hit in the first inning, Reyes reached base in the first for the 7th straight game. Without putting pressure on the opposition. Another first pitch curveball as he got in his first at bat. Strike 1.
Lots of curveballs and sliders to all the Mets hitters first time through that lineup. Should tell you something.
Slow ground ball, and Cano comes in and throws out Reyes to end the inning. Mets get 1 run back on Tejada's RBI single after 2, 3-1 Yankees. High definition by Verizon Fios. Call 1-888-GET-FIOS. Brian Cashman, Yankee general manager, has presided over a team that's gone 23-11 since the Mets last saw them. 48-31, best record in the American League. Mark Teixeira had the keynote in this game, a 2-run double in the opening inning, and he took to the opposite field to put the Yankees in the early lead. Big inning up for John Neese after the Mets got him a run back, and now he's facing the heart of the Yankee batting order, Teixeira, A-Rod, and Cano. Each team already with 5 hits. And Teixeira banks one off his foot to join the club. Swisher did that in the last inning, and now Teixeira hits one off his foot.
Big crowd here today, and it is electric. Nice to see, nice to feel.
This is as much buzz before and in the early portion of the game as we've seen here at Citi Field since this place opened. There are fans everywhere. Can you imagine what the line at Shake Shack must be like?
You know, we got here early, and outside there were people all over. There he is. How about the line at Keith's Grill?
10
right.
deep at Keith's Grill.
That's right.
Even some Yankee fans.
That's a big league burger.
3-2 to Teixeira, and the curveball just fouled off. Just got a piece. I hope you're getting recognition. Well, he's not here in body, but he's here in spirit. And it's high ball 4, and Teixeira's on with a leadoff walk. So the Yankees have now had the leadoff hitter on 3 straight innings against John Neese. That's his first walk.
Well, good at bat for Teixeira there.
Racial Verizon high-speed pitch. Don Novus topped out at 95. John Neese at an unaccustomed 94. So here's A-Rod, who grounded out to Justin Turner his first time up. And he hits one to shallow center. On comes Pagan a long way in. It drops, and it goes behind him. He might have had a chance for a force at second had he been able to scoop that on the run on one hop. But it eluded him, and so Teixeira arrives at second safely. A base hit for A-Rod.
A tough play if you're the base runner right here. You got an outfield with a lot of speed. Pagan has to play deep, respect the power of A-Rod. And with all of his speed, he can't get to this one.
I mean, what can you do if you're Teixeira? Where do you go?
You just got to make your, as you can see, he ties him up right there on the label. You just got to get halfway and then make your read late there.
So the Yankees have the first 2 men on, and now Cano, who doubled into the left field corner to drive in a run in the first inning. Yankees now with 6 hits off Neese as Cano runs up and takes a strike.
I just wouldn't want Cano doing this. He's your guy. He's your 6th hitter in the lineup. Actually, excuse me, your 5th hitter in the lineup. He's your RBI guy. He hasn't brought any infielders in. The corners are back, and he's 0-1.
And the curveball, double play ball to Tejada. Tate makes the tag on A-Rod and completes the double play. 4-4-3. As Teixeira moves to third, 2 out.
Well, A-Rod right here, just, where's the purse? You got to knock him out. That's just not going to get it done. He's right in your line there. You have every right as a runner to knock him into the next county.
At least he didn't slap at it. So 2 out, Teixeira at third, and now Russell Martin, who grounded out to third base his first time. It's another one down to Turner. A bad hop, and he stays with it on the carom and throws him out. That saved a run. As that ball came up on Turner, he calmly was able to grab it with his bare hand, and he makes the play and keeps the Yankees off the scoreboard in the third.
That's a nice.
Yankees lead the Mets 3-1. Mets will have 2, 3, and 4 in the batting order coming up. Turner, Beltran, and Murphy against Ivan Nova. Mets have 5 hits in the first 2 innings, but just the 1 run.
Now, there's 11 hits in this ball game, and we're only in 2.5 innings.
But significantly, all singles and doubles. It's just a different game here than what we saw between these two teams at Yankee Stadium. Turner single to center his first time up. And he bounces one down to A-Rod. Nice easy hop. 1 pitch, and Nova has 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd. As Carlos Beltran comes up, let's say hello to Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
You know, guys, I was talking to Dave Hudgens, the Mets hitting coach, today, just about the approach on this just completed road trip, and obviously he's pleased. And I asked him what he's seeing. He said, well, you know, clearly guys are hunting for their pitch and being very aggressive on that. And the benefit of that, because they're so locked in on their pitch, they're laying off the bad pitches. They're just not swinging at any balls in the dirt or balls above their head, anything like that. And I said, well, how far can that continue? He said, well, hopefully, obviously, the rest of the year, but it goes in peaks and valleys. When guys aren't hitting, you know, when they start chasing hits, that's when it changes a little bit. You get a little slump, you chase hits, you go a little bit out of that zone, you get out of that comfort level. But then I asked him about the Rick Porcello game the other day in Detroit when the Mets were very, very aggressive early in the count, did not work the count. He said, look, we tell our guys 2 ways to go about it. There are 2 ways to knock a pitcher out of the game. Number 1 is high pitch count early, which we've done a very good job of lately. The other is to bang him out of the game. You know, we saw some tendencies with him. We got some great pitches to hit. We hit him early. Guys?
Well, Porcello is another sinker ball pitcher, which I think is a good matchup for this lineup, for all the left-hand hitters that can use the whole field.
And it's too high, ball 4, and Carlos is on with the walk. First walk given up by Nova. Well, Dave Hudgens gets a lot of the credit for what the Mets have accomplished this year. 2nd in the league in on-base percentage, leading the league in walks. It's something that they have been working on since the first day of spring training, and it took a little while for this team to adjust to that mentality, and maybe it took losing 2 of their 3 best power hitters for it to really sink in that the only way they were going to win was this way. Here's Murphy, who grounded into a double play his first time up. And Daniel takes a strike.
I think Dave Hudgens has given each hitter a great sense of self, Gary. A real definition of what they can do and how they can be successful at this level.
Gary, you remember a couple years ago when Murph came up and he was much more crouched, and then the second season tried to get him more upright, and now you look at his stance now, he is upright, and I think he's become comfortable in his new stance. You just can't change someone making an alteration and have him feel comfortable. You have to grow into it, and I think Murph has grown into the new stance. Very upright now.
And I think also in Murph's second season, he came up the latter part of 08, then he was here for all of 09. In 09, he seemed to get a little overly aggressive. I mean, it's his personality to be very aggressive, but sometimes you carry that too far as a hitter, and I think he's starting to find a happy medium with that.
And that comes with experience and feeling like you belong, and everything slows down, becomes easier.
Gets it back up the middle, deflects right to Cano, who bobbles it and makes the play to first in time to get Murphy. Now the Yankees got fortunate there. That was a bullet by Murphy, and it slowed down enough for Cano to make a play.
I thought Cano still had a chance for the lead out, but he had made up his mind. And see, he didn't play the ball in front. Even though it took the bad carom, he didn't get in front of the ball. Played it off to the side.
So it's a 1-4-3 put out after Nova deflected that ball. I agree with you, Keith. I think for sure he had to play at second base.
And, you know, credit Carlos for hustling down the line there.
So Beltran at second with 2 down. Now Angel Pagan will try and get him in. And he lines one the other way, a foul ball. Angel flying out to left his first time up. What a series he had in Detroit. 8 for 13, 3 doubles, 5 RBIs, 2 stolen bases in the 3 games. And he needed that because he had been scuffling up to that point.
And he's coming out against the left-handers too, coming around.
In fact, there was one key point as beach ball gets loose in right field. We'll have a brief delay. When Jim Leyland brought in a left-hander specifically to face Pagan in a big spot, and he responded with a base hit. He had 3 hits in that game batting right-handed. That was huge for him. Is that our first beach ball in 2011?
Maybe. It's summer.
It's July. Big beach weekend.
That was a pitch to Rip. I think Angel might have been looking for a breaking ball. See the Mayor's down the front row.
Is he wearing a hat?
No, he doesn't. He's not wearing a hat.
That's a very smart man. Got to be ecumenical on days like this.
That's right.
Of course, he's a Red Sox fan, so it doesn't really matter. Here's the 1-2. And the breaking ball bounces. Good stop by Martin. 1-2. Jason Bay would be next. That's trying to chip away after the Yankees put up 3 runs against John Neese in the first inning. That's got to run back in the second. They have a runner in scoring position in the third. And on 1-2, Pagan bounces one foul that came off his foot. So that's 2-1 Yankee feet to Met feet that have been pounded by foul balls. Thomas asked for, as Pagan needs a little moment for that foot to feel better. That's got some nice news on David Wright today, who's hitting off a tee. Should be taking batting practice in a few days and hopefully be in some minor league games by sometime next week, which means it is realistic to think he might be ready shortly after the All-Star break. And that will certainly be tremendous news for this Mets lineup. David tries to work his way back from a stress fracture in his back. Meanwhile, no new news on Ike Davis. He's just sitting in Arizona waiting for his ankle to heal, and hopefully will start
There you go.
running next week. Try it out. And let's hope they have both those guys back. 2-2 to Pagan. Fouled away.
And then the big question is, who gets the lion's share of the play at second base?
I think it's a wide open question. That's gotten so much out of Turner and Tejada, but they're very different players. Again, the 2-2, and it bounces behind Martin, but not far enough for Beltran to make him move. 3-2. Jorge Posada generally DHs for the Yankees, but no DH in this series, so questionable whether or how much he'll play in these 3 games.
Boy, he's been red hot with the bat of late.
He wasn't hitting the lick the last time we saw him in May.
These last 10 games, he's hitting almost 350.
Ever since he opted out of the lineup that day, they batted him 9th. He's been hot. Nunez right at the bag. Guns down Pagan to end the inning. So Nova works around the walk. We're through 3 at Citi Field. 3-1 Yankees. More games to go in this series on national TV tomorrow on SNY Sunday, and then the Mets go to the West Coast. 4 with the Dodgers, 3 with the Giants, taking us to the All-Star game, and then when they come back from the break 2 weeks from today, the Mets will be home to play the Phillies. The Mets on a long run of games, predominantly against first-place teams. They played first-place Texas and first-place Detroit. They're playing the first-place Yankees, and after an interlude against the Dodgers, they play the first-place Giants and Phillies. And Jones knocks the mask right off Polino, and it's 0-2.
4 in Los Angeles. Ouch. Oh, no. That requires no comment.
It's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
It's amazing, though. Majority of catchers, right before the ball comes, close their eyes.
Wouldn't you? 0-2 to Andrew. Tries to lay off the curveball. And he stopped it in time, 1-2. By the way, the Phillies ruined Canada Day for the Blue Jays today. Ryan Howard 2-run single in the 9th, beat Toronto 7-6 on Canada Day in Toronto.
They win every day.
It seems that way, doesn't it? 52-31 the Phillies are now.
That's the best record in baseball.
2-2 to Andrew Jones, and he loses the bat swinging at that curveball and somehow fouling it off.
Well, Roy Halladay has just been, I mean, to me now, he is obviously the real deal, but what a year he's having. And Cliff Lee now's picked it up.
And the thing also is they're winning with the Worleys and the Kendricks. Kendrick pitched today. And they're down to their 5th closer. They've got Antonio Bastardo closing now with Ryan Madsen on the DL.
Who I happen to like a lot. I like Bastardo.
Murphy over for a look, but that's on the dugout roof and beyond.
And you can make an argument they haven't really hit this year. No.
But they hit enough to win every game.
Yeah.
Or so it seems. So right now the Phillies are 4.5 up on the Braves and 10 up on the Mets. The Braves are playing at home against Baltimore this weekend. No score in the 3rd there. 2-2. And Andrew fouls that one off. Well, the Phillies have the best record in baseball. The Yankees are 2nd, followed by the Red Sox, the Braves, and the Giants.
Could Boston get off to a 1-10 start? Wow.
Well, there are several teams. The Mets are one of them. The Red Sox and the Rays are 2 others who have survived after horrific starts. Again, the 2-2, and the curveball is down, ball 3. This is quite an event between Neese and Jones. By the way, you know about Chipper Jones and his numbers against the Mets. Andrew has 26 career homers against the Mets. And he takes the curveball, strike 3 call. On the 10th pitch of the at-bat, Andrew Jones goes down looking. Neese has 3 strikeouts. They've all been looking at curveballs.
Well, that ball was caught awkwardly by Paulino, making it look like a ball. The glove goes straight down. What do you think, Chief?
Too close to take. I might have moaned on it, but it's too close to take.
Yeah, that comes above the knees.
Right across the knees. Good call by Jerry Lane.
Yep.
So 1 out. Here's Eduardo Nunez. A bunt hit his first time. So Neese has really found his curveball tonight. It was missing the last 2 starts. He had a rough first inning, but worked around trouble in the 3rd, and Nunez takes one right over the bag for a base hit. It hits the jutting stands, and Tejada's going to have to go out and play it as Nunez walks into 2nd. That was the strangest bounce we've seen since Citi Field opened off that short fence. It hit an advertising sign and came right back toward the infield.
Well, slicing. Ball boy gets out of the way as he's supposed to. Hit the gate. I see, yes.
So Nunez is 2 for 2. Bunt single, and now an opposite field double. And now the pitcher Nova comes up. Sacrificed his first time up. Certainly not a bunting situation here, although the Mets, for some reason, have the corners in. Why would you do that?
I would not believe that they would bunt, and you just got to push Turner back. You don't bunt.
No, nobody bunts in this situation.
Please, you might hit a dork.
And I don't understand that. Now Murphy's moved back.
Murphy's still in nowhere zone. Get back further. There you go. Come on, a little more.
24-year-old Ivan Nova really made great strides over the last couple of years, increasing his velocity and turning himself from a so-so prospect into a major league starting pitcher. And the curveball just misses. 1-2.
That's tomorrow night's starting pitcher, Mr. Colon. Afternoon, I should say.
He'll be coming off the disabled list to start tomorrow. He's been out with a hamstring injury. He's been pitching wonderfully for the Yankees after undergoing controversial surgery in the offseason that seems to have upped his velocity significantly. Nova hanging in there. Awfully good numbers for a pitcher of whom very little was expected. But he's been an ace before in his career. He was a great pitcher at one time with Cleveland, but he was on the wrong end of the worst ever trade deadline deal. He was traded for Brandon Phillips, Grady Sizemore, and Cliff Lee, all in the same trade. Nova down swinging, and that's the fourth strikeout for Nice. Imagine that. Grady Sizemore, Brandon Phillips, and Cliff Lee.
Nice trade.
All for 2 months of Bartolo Colon.
What year was that?
I believe it was 03. Yeah. It was the year that the Expos were supposed to be contracted but weren't. And so Omar Minaya, who was the GM in Montreal at the time, was going for it that year. It really, didn't really matter if they gave up all their prospects, which they did. So here's Swisher with a runner at second and 2 out. Swisher has singled and struck out 1 for 2. And it's inside and all the way to the backstop, and over to third goes Nunez. So that one got away from Paulino.
Should be a pass ball. Yeah, caught leather, right? Gotta handle that.
And it is a pass ball. That's a lead the majors in pass balls by a healthy margin. Nunez at third now with 2 out. And Swisher takes that cutter either side. It's 2-0. Swisher singled to center and scored in the first. Took a call third strike in the second. Now that he's hit in the leadoff spot 4 times, he's now hit in every spot of the order this year except 4th and 9th.
Well, they're pounding him in. And that's a good cutter right there from Nice. That's the best one he's thrown. That's a sharp cutter. A little bit of tilt, downward tilt to it.
That Cologne trade between Cleveland and Montreal was 0-2. 0-2 was the year the Expos were supposed to be contracted. So contracted, they moved 2 years later. Curtis Granderson on deck. Nice hoping to have him lead off the next inning. John up to 73 pitches now in the 4th inning. He worked around a crisis in the 3rd, trying to do the same here in the 4th. 2-2. And the curveball in for a call, strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Nice, and 4 of them have been just like that. Call third strikes on the curve. leadoff against Ivan Nova. Bay, Polino, and Tejada had consecutive singles in the second inning to produce the Mets' only run. Those same three will start the fourth. Mike Pelfrey, R.A. Dickey sitting next to John Neese, ignoring him, talking about something else. I mean, when you were starting, you never wanted anybody talking to you on the bench.
You don't want to talk to anyone. Pitching coach. Sometimes they'll come over and sit next to you, but you don't really talk about too much. You're just trying to get ready for the next inning.
Nova behind on Bay, 2-0. Jason fell behind in the count of the second inning, got a curveball and hit it to right field for a base hit and scored the only Met run. Nova's allowed a run on 5 hits and walked 1. And Bay pops it up. Cano out to call. 1 away. Well, the Mets playing their second Subway Series with the Yankees, and Terry Collins has somewhat mixed feelings about this whole interleague play thing.
For interleague play, for me, everybody in our division should play the Yankees twice, if that's the way it's going to be. You know, that's a tough goal for anybody, and a big challenge for any team to play these guys twice. So it's fun. Make no mistake about it. It's exciting. It's fun, but it's not an exhibition. These stinking games count. So, you know, when they change the rules so that everybody plays everybody else the same amount of times, then I'll buy into interleague play. But the Subway Series is fun. I mean, it's why you play.
And of course, that's the mixed bag that the Mets have dealt with since interleague play began. Of course, you want the rivalry games. That's the best part of interleague play for the fans, but as far as competitive balance is concerned, it's a different story.
Well, you were every yearly playing at least one of the best teams in baseball.
Yeah, those things change from year to year. I mean, at one point, you know, the Marlins were playing the Rays every year and say, oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Well, now it's not so easy. Ball and 2 strikes to Polino.
No when does it get easy for the Mets? Because they haven't really had it easy.
Well, if they played the Yankees, say, I don't know, in the early 90s, it might have been better. But they never did play them.
70s.
Yeah. 1966. Polino bounces one toward third. That's a fair ball and a long throw for A-Rod on a hop, perfectly handled by Teixeira. A-Rod gave him a perfect bounce to deal with, and that's the second out.
Well, wisely done on the throw here. A-Rod plays the long hop and just says, okay, I'm going to give my first baseman the easy one. And that's, you got a Gold Glover over there. And he's not running out of the box there in the beginning, but it didn't really matter. He'd have been out anyway. Polino doesn't run well, but nice long hop.
Aren't you supposed to run hard and then find out if it's a foul ball?
I understand. I've been guilty of that more than a few times over my career. Kind of wishing that ball to go far, trying to push it foul.
A 2 out and nobody on. Now Tejada, who drove in the Met run with a single to center in the second. Watching A-Rod make that throw brought me back to the dreaded days of AstroTurf.
That's right.
Infielders used to do that all the time.
70s and the early 80s.
Because you always got the true hop off the carpet.
Concepcion was great at that.
What I hated when they had the cutouts, Gary, when the turf was completely all turf except for the cutouts around the bases. And then they had the border was around 4 inches thick. Oh, gosh, you can get an up hop up there and take your teeth out.
Another chance for A-Rod on the backhand and the jump toss right on target. Beautiful play by Alex Rodriguez to get Tejada and end the inning. A-Rod, nimble. And a perfect toss to Teixeira. 1, 2, 3 go the Mets. best-selling vehicles with the best-selling values in America. Yankees leading 3-1, and they'll set up 2, 3, and 4 in the batting order. Granderson, Teixeira, and A-Rod against John Neese in the 5th. It's been a hard-working first 4 innings for Neese. He's already thrown 74 pitches, given up 3 runs, 7 hits. And Granderson takes a first pitch cutter for a strike. Let's check in with Kevin.
Gary, last night you mentioned David Wright. I talked to him via email today, and he's progressing, that's for sure. He took hitting off the tee for the first time today. Took ground balls at third base, did not make the full throws across the diamond, though they're taking it slowly. And he told me in an email that certainly he's progressing as much as he can. It's a day-by-day process, but he is right where he's supposed to be. I asked him about his impressions of the team, and he said, honestly, the team has been a lot of fun to watch. Would be more enjoying it if I could actually be a part of it, but I really look forward to watching the games every single night. They're playing the game the right way. Gave an awful lot of credit to Terry Collins, so he's progressing. It's a slow progress, but you can imagine it's got to be tough for him watching as long as he's been watching. Granderson goes down. Back to you.
Did he say anything about Keith when he's watching the games every day?
I did.
So Granderson is the 6th strikeout victim for Neese. 1 out and nobody on. Here's Teixeira, who doubled in 2 runs in the 1st, walked in the 3rd, and first pitch swinging, flies 1 out to Pagan, who barely has to move. And so quickly Neese has the first 2 and a chance for his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. And both these pitchers, Nova and Neese, were a little shaky in the early going, and both have really started to settle in.
Well, Jonathan in particular was really in trouble, and this is what's so impressive about this young man, how far he's come so quickly. He's got tremendous poise. He doesn't quit.
A-Rod looped a single his last time, up 1 for 2, and he takes a cutter for a strike, and that cutter has been better and better as this game's gone along.
Cutter and the curveball.
The line is ugly, but since the 1st inning, he's allowed no runs and 3 hits. And that curveball misses. Ball and a strike.
It's one thing that the young pitchers on the Mets squad, both Dylan G and Jonathan Neese, great composure on the mound.
He will pitch tomorrow afternoon against Bartolo Colon in Game 2 of the series. And it's going to be a test for G because he's had back-to-back difficult starts. And a ground ball for Tejada to handle. Picks up the roller and tosses out A-Rod in a very strong inning for Neese. Just 9 pitches to get him 1-2-3. 3-1 Yankees.
Every pitch. It means something to us.
It's in New York.
In New York.
The Subway Series 2011 second round. John Neese leads off in the home 5th inning with the Mets trailing 3-1 and takes a strike from Ivan Nova. Neese was up there trying to bunt in the 2nd inning, wound up taking a call 3rd strike. Neese and Nova born just 2.5 months apart. Neese in October of '86, well, you know what day, and Nova in January of '87. And Neese with a wild swing at the curveball, and he's down on strikes. So 1 out in the home 5th inning. Nova has his 2nd strikeout. And now Reyes will come up for the 3rd time.
Let's see if he starts him with his 3rd consecutive curveball.
Jose Reyes in the month of June had 45 hits, 7 triples, 11 stolen bases, and 29 runs scored. The last time that a major league player had all those numbers in a single month, Ty Cobb in July of 1912, 99 years ago. That's how good a month of June Jose Reyes had. In the month of July, he's 1 for 2, had an infield hit in the 1st, grounded out in the 2nd.
And again, the corners, both ends of the corners are playing aggressively in for Jose. It opens up that hole for him.
Nova behind 2-0. There's the comparison between Cobb's July 1912. Note, though, that Cobb played 30 games in that month. Reyes played only 26 in this last month.
68 hits. Tyrus. Oh, cow.
Well, you know what Cobb hit that month? 535.
Oh, jeez.
Reyes late on the fastball. He's seen so many curves from Nova, and that time Hardy 2-2.
Chased a bad one here up in the strike zone.
He has not struck out in 70 plate appearances. Teixeira on the back end. Nova over to cover. And he gets the foot to the bag ahead of Reyes. 2 out. Think about that with Reyes. It's now 71 plate appearances without a strikeout. Think about earlier in his career when he used to chase pitches in the dirt and strike out.
Well, he's been focused, and it's all its concentration level has been there. And that's the only reason for it. And he just, what a year. I mean, it's just amazing every day. I mean, that road trip, when you got the 3 hits and the 4 hits, it just was like, what's going on here? It's not that easy.
Strike 1 to Turner, who's 1 for 2. Nova's now retired 7 in a row. And 5 of the 7 have been on ground balls. So ground ball pitcher has begun to find his groove. And the curveball in for a strike, and he's ahead on Turner 0-2.
Much better breaking ball this time around, Ronnie, than the first time we saw him in Yankee Stadium.
Larry Rothschild, the Yankee pitching coach, liking what he sees. The 0-2 to Turner, and he fights it off. Only 2 pitchers in the major leagues have gotten a higher percentage of outs on ground balls than Nova. Jake Westbrook and Charlie Morton.
Well, he's had a high of 17 ground ball outs in one game.
Turner fights off another fastball. Well, when you pitch in that bandbox that he pitches in, that's a pretty good trait to have.
Yeah. Boy, Keith, they've been really pounding Turner in, haven't they, in the last month or so?
Yes, they have.
Sometimes it doesn't help to publicize that your thumb's hurt.
Yep. I don't know why they do that, but maybe to try to explain why someone's out of the lineup for a couple of days. But
certainly it's an invitation for the pitchers to pound him inside as much as they can. Justin says that thumb's feeling a little better, but it's not going to be fully better until the season's over.
Christmas.
Line past A-Rod and into left field, a base hit. So Turner, bad thumb and all, has his 2nd hit, and he takes a very wide turn before Andrew Jones gets it back in. So after Nova had retired 7 straight, Turner behind in the count gets himself his 2nd hit of the night. And Beltran will come to the plate as the tying run.
And as the Mets' really only long ball threat in this lineup thus far in the season, Carlos with 12 home runs.
Homered yesterday against Joaquin Benoit in Detroit. Today he's popped up and walked 0 for 1. And he takes a fastball at the knees for a strike. This is what we were talking about the other day. If you're going to have a lineup where guys are going to work counts and take a lot of pitches, it really behooves you to throw first pitch strikes. And Nova has really begun to do that. Ball and a strike to Beltran.
Well, there it is right there. Ike Davis, of course, greatly missed in this lineup. Was really having a terrific season. David, of course, gone.
So leaves Beltran really as the main power plant.
He rips that one into right for a base hit. Turner will go first to third as Swisher throws it in. It's cut off and thrown to third by Nunez, but not in time. And the Mets have runners at the corners with 2 down, and Murphy coming up. Well, the Mets are going to run liberally against Nick Swisher in right field. And they do again go first to third.
Well, down and in to Carlos and just rips it. Had too much plate. And this ball is a rocket, and that's the Mets' aggressive base running. Turner never hesitated.
Well, you rarely see that relay throw.
A relay throw, you never usually go first to third on a rocket like that.
So a chance for Murphy with the tying runs on base and 2 out. Mets specialized in 2-out runs during their road trip. Murphy tonight is 0 for 2. And Nova misses. Only the 3rd batter of the last 14 that he hasn't thrown a first pitch strike. Mets have more 2-out runs than any team in the National League. The Mets are 4th in the league in runs scored. Who would have thought that with all their big hitters missing?
Good curve. Good one. Good bite.
Opposing hitters are hitting just 187 against Nova's curveball this year. They're going to go right back to it. Murphy stops the swing, and Martin knocks it down to keep Turner at third.
And there's the importance of a good eye at the plate right there. That was a curveball that some guys would fish for. It just flips the whole count around. 2-1 count instead of 1-2. If you have a good eye and don't fish for the bad one.
An outstanding job by Martin on that breaking ball too.
Mets are just 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position tonight. On 2-1, Murphy lays off, and it's up and away for ball 3. A walk would fill the bases and bring up Angel Pagan. These 2-out at-bats have been so crucial to the Mets' success.
Well, it's a 3-1 count here. You want Murph aggressive. He's got a pitch to pick on. And if he gets a pitch to his liking, let it go.
And that misses ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Second walk for Nova. Larry Rothschild heads to the mound. Bases loaded and 2 out, and Angel Pagan coming up.
Well, the Mets on that recent road trip, all you Met fans, you know they broke that bubble with the 2 Grand Slam home runs, but the last Grand Slam home run in this ballpark hit by Angel Pagan.
It was in 2009 against Clay Zavada.
Clay Zavada.
You remember him, sure.
Steven Zavada.
So a crisis moment for Ivan Nova, who had 2 quick outs in this inning. He struck out Nice, got Reyes on a ground ball. But then Turner, after falling behind 0-2, got himself a base hit. Beltran followed with a hard hit single to right. A walk to Murphy. Now they're loaded for Pagan.
Well, you got a pitcher with the bases loaded, and boy, just sitting on a fastball first pitch. If he throws you a good hook, you can take it. If he hangs it, you can still rip it, but don't let him throw a fastball by you and try to get ahead.
Angel is flying to left, grounded to short, 0 for 2. So twice has hit the ball to the left side of the field. Lays off the curveball. And he stopped it in time. Ted Barrett with the call. 1-0.
Well, even better now for Angel there. And he's all about having a good eye at the plate. Now he's 1-0. He's missed with a hook with the bases loaded.
Swings through the fastball, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, it's a little anxious.
Just pulling off a little bit too, Keith.
This ball runs away. It's up, and it's out of the strike zone. He just went after it.
No one on base. Hitters are hitting .274 coming into this game off Nova. Runners in scoring position .242. He gets better.
Foul back. Better cut at that fastball, but now it's 1-2.
Well, that was his pitch to him. You saw Angel's reaction to that foul back. Right on it. And you keep the tape running. You can see his reaction. He just right on it. And he's just angry at himself. He knows he had his pitch. Yep. Now he's got to bear down 1-2.
Granderson's so shallow in left center field. Hits the ball to right center. He can run for days.
Well, Nova calling Martin in. Martin, for these Yankee pitchers, has gotten in the habit of painting his fingernails white, so those signs are much easier to see. But maybe changing up the sequence of signs here with the bases loaded.
That's with their opportunity here in the fifth. All after 2 out and nobody on. Turner at third, Beltran the tying run at second, Murphy at first with 2 out. So the Mets had an inning on the road trip where they scored 7 runs in an inning after 2 out and nobody on. Pagan, badly fooled on the curveball, just got a piece.
Barely. And the reaction of Nova. He thought he made the pitch to get out of the inning. And Angels stayed in the at-bat.
Again, the 1-2. And that breaking ball just missed. And now it's 2-2.
You foul off enough good breaking balls, take enough good ones down out of the strike zone. Hard not to hang one if you're a pitcher at some point.
Struck him out on the curveball. Martin will make the throw to first, and the inning is over. Now Nova threw a good curveball, a bad curveball, and he gets Pagan. The fifth inning.
Baseball is brought to you by Lovesa. We go to the 6th inning. Robinson Cano will lead off for the Yankees, who scored 3 runs in the 1st inning and have been stymied by John Neese since. Neese has struck out 6 over the first 5 innings. Cano hits one past Reyes and into left field, a base hit. Reyes did not move well for that ball to his right, and Cano hit it hard enough to get it by him.
Well, you're right, Garrett. Keep your eye on Reyes there, top upper left screen. You get a late break. You're absolutely correct.
Ball just ate him up after that.
So the Yankees have the leadoff man on for the 4th time in 6 innings. And now Russell Martin will bat. Martin twice has grounded out to Turner at 3rd base.
Well, I've never seen that shot. It's pretty cool.
How nice. You don't have to walk the steps.
Andrew Jones, hitting 7th in the order, is on deck. Yankees now with 8 hits, the Mets with 7. It's been a game of limiting opportunities for the opposing starters. Von Nova just got himself out of a tough 2-out jam, striking out Pagan with the bases loaded. Now Neese has to deal with another leadoff man on against him. Curveball misses low, 2-1.
Well, Russell Martin might have been their MVP in April when a lot of the Yankee hitters were struggling. He was at the top of his game.
He's tailed off since then, hitting under 230 now. And now Neese is behind him, 3-1.
You know, he hurt his back in early June, missed 3 or 4 games. This is reaction to this pitch up. It's almost like he lost sight of it.
A little play acting, make sure it was high. Do you run the runner here? I think you run him. You're not.
And it's too high, ball 4. And so the Yankees have the first 2 men on against Neese in the 6th. Dan Worthen heads to the mound. Tonight, find out why more and more New Yorkers are watching Jody Applegate and the Pix 11 News at 10. You'll see why they're the area's fastest growing newscast. Watch the Pix 11 News at 10 after the game. Neese has just issued his 2nd walk. He's up to 89 pitches on the night. Pedro Beato will start to go to work in the Mets bullpen.
Well, back in the 3rd inning, Neese allowed the first 2 runners on base and got out of it with a double play and a ground ball. This is a critical juncture in the game here. If the Yankees bat on here, it's going to be tough.
And for the Mets, you know, they're battling against Nova, a young pitcher, fully cognizant that the Yankees right now have the 8th and 9th inning pretty well covered with David Robertson and Mariano Rivera. So it gives you only a slender frame of time to mount a comeback before getting to those guys. Andrew Jones is 0 for 2, a soft liner to 2nd, and he took a call 3rd strike. And the first pitch cutter inside for ball 1.
Boy, Jerry Lane has just closed down strike zone. Closed it down.
Cano and Martin, the base runners.
Oh.
Another cutter, and it's 1-1 to Andrew.
This one had a little tilt in it. Well, maybe not. It was maybe fouled off.
Tipped and held by Polino. It's 1-2. Eduardo Nunez, the number 8 hitter, is on deck, and behind him the pitcher's spot. Double play ball to short. Reyes gets the out at 2nd, but no chance for a relay as Tejada gets upended by Russell Martin. Ball just not hit hard enough to turn 2. And Martin coming in hard as he should.
Well, Tejada ideas of turning it, and I think it was on the exchange. He got a little bit rushed here with a good, strong, clean slide by Martin. That eliminated that because Andrew Jones does not run well anymore.
Martin's getting congratulations from the bench because that's how you play the game. What I didn't appreciate after he gets up to apologize. I don't know what that's about. What do you need to apologize for?
So now 1st and 3rd and 1 out. Nunez, a bunt single and an opposite field double, is 2 for 2. And the first pitch curve hit to shallow center. Out goes Reyes over the shoulder. He made the catch. And it's going to be a double play. It dropped, excuse me. I thought from our angle it looked like he caught the ball.
What is going on?
When it actually went over his head, the runner at third, Cano, thought it was caught, and he went back to third base.
Well, it's the third base coach who's got to help him out, too. Get himself in an angle to see this play. Now, from our angle on the camera, it looked like Reyes caught it, but someone's got a different angle back there. I've never seen someone not score.
Reyes picked it up quickly, but Cano had come down the line, and he went back to the bag when that ball wound up in Reyes' glove, and the third base coach was telling him to go, Rob Thompson.
Well, a little late telling him, too. Rob Thompson's job is to read it. He's got to move up the line to get a better angle because Reyes was blocking his view.
So it's a base hit for Nunez to load the bases, and now the Yankees will go to their bench and bring up Jorge Posada to bat for Ivan Nova. Now, Nova's been pitching very well. He's made it through 5 innings, allowing just the 1 run. The Yankee middle relief is a big question mark, but Joe Girardi, seeing an opportunity to break this game open, goes to his big bat off the bench.
You take this shot. I think you've got to.
You got to go for the juggler again. You got a hot Posada right now. You've got to try to get a chance to bust the game open. You bring up your veteran.
Luis Ayala, the former Met, is up in the bullpen for the Yankees. So it looks like he'll be coming on to pitch the bottom of the inning. So a huge moment here with the bases loaded and 1 out.
But the numbers are stark difference between Posada left-handed and right-handed.
Hitting just 136 as a right-hand batter. But he has been hot ever since he opted out of the lineup against the Red Sox on May the 14th. He's hitting .326.
Everybody straight up. Well, I think.
And Andrew Jones, I think, is coming out of the game for a pinch runner. Brett Gardner will go on for him. So the Yankees making moves here. Posada to pinch hit. Gardner to pinch run.
It's the right move all the way around.
Well, if you're Nice, you got to think ground ball here. The way Posada runs these days, anything on the ground is an almost sure double play. So the bases are loaded with 1 out. 3-1 Yankees, 6th inning. And Posada takes the curveball for a strike.
Posada 1 for 4 as a pinch hitter on the year. Hitting only .136 against left-handers.
And East paints the outside corner, and it's 0-2. Did he swing?
No.
A breaking ball in the dirt, and he stopped it. 1-2. Cano started this inning with a base hit that ate up Reyes at short. Martin walked. Andrew Jones hit into a fielder's choice, and then Nunez hit the pop fly that Reyes did not catch. Cano didn't realize it and stayed at third base. Here's the 1-2. Curveball, strike 3 call.
Well, you haven't got a chance if you don't swing the bat. Pretty good pitch. But he'd taken that 2-second strike fastball on the outside corner was the one. This is a pretty good curveball in the back door, Ronnie.
Yeah. Never really hit the strike zone till the end.
Tell you something, the Yankees don't get a run out of this or two, this may come back to bite them.
7 strikeouts now for Nice, and 5 of them have been called third strikes, every one of them on curveballs. So now Swisher, who was twice the victim of Nice's curve, had a single and scored back in the first. The Yankees already have had 14 at bats with runners in scoring position, 3 for 14 tonight. And the first pitch curve for ball 1. So Nice's curveball deserted him his previous 2 starts, has stayed in this game with his curve. Cano at third, Gardner at second, Nunez at first, and 2 out. Fastball strike, 1-1. Well, Ivan Nova, 5 good innings, but he's done for the night. He's up to 100 pitches. Beato is ready in the bullpen if needed. One curveball, bounce toward third. That's a fair ball. Side retired. The Yankees load him up and do not score. It stays 3-1 in the 6th. Starring Justin Timberlake in theaters July 22nd. Rated R. Brett Gardner, who pinch ran, stays in the game in left field. And the former Met Luis Ayala will take over the pitching for the Yankees.
Well, Luis Ayala had a stint with the Mets, of course. A few seasons ago, he did his best work when he was a setup man for the Washington Nationals, and he's pitched pretty well for this Yankee team.
Pitched yesterday for an inning against Milwaukee, a perfect ninth. In fact, he's given up just 2 earned runs in his last 23 1/3 innings. Ayala wound up being the closer for the Mets late in the 2008 season after Billy Wagner got hurt. But the Mets just used him so much, he wore out at the end of the season.
Well, I have a hunch that that inning right there is going to come back to bite the Yankees.
Well, it was quite a Houdini act by Nice, as it appeared to us and clearly appeared to Robinson Cano that Jose Reyes had caught a pop-up that he did not catch, and Cano stayed at third base, and Nice stranded him there by striking out Posada and getting Swisher on a fielder's choice. So now Bay leads off the home sixth with the Mets still down 3-1. Bay is 1 for 2, scored the Mets only run in the second. So Nova leads after 5 innings with a chance to be a winner as Corey Wade gets up in the Yankee bullpen. Nova threw 89 pitches, allowed a run on 7 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Bay, Paulino, and Tejada, 3 right-hand batters up in the 6th inning. And Ayala falls behind 2-0. So each team loaded the bases in the last turn through the batting order, and each failed to score. There's a call strike to Bay, and it's 2-1. Well, such is life as a DH in the National League park. You get your one at bat, you go home. Well, not literally home. On the corner. Well, it's 2-2.
Ronnie, you said he closed down that strike zone. I thought he gave one there.
Yeah.
That was a borderline slider to Bay. And Jason's reaction is that ball's outside.
And maybe low. Bounces that one. It's 3-2. In Atlanta tonight, Jair Jurgens just allowed his first hit against the Orioles. With 1 out of the 7th inning, Adam Jones singled to break up Jurgens' no-hit bid. Braves lead the Orioles 2-0. Jurgens red against everybody except the Mets.
That's right.
3-2, and Babe bounces one foul.
And Jurgens was someone that dominated the Mets over his young career.
Before the Mets beat him twice in a 10-day span. You know, Terry Collins was asked before the game today what he thought the turning point was for this team in realizing that they could compete with the better teams. And here they are playing their 3rd straight series against a first-place team and doing well. That's too high, ball 4, and Bay's on with a walk. He cited the Milwaukee series. Remember the Mets took 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee, and the game they lost was that horrendous loss with the bullpen blew a 4-run lead in the 8th, and then they rebounded and won the next day. And he said that's the series he felt they really started to believe in their ability to compete with the better team.
Well, I think a couple of things. Milwaukee at that point was in first place, and even more importantly, they were almost unbeatable at home.
So Paulino steps in, tying run at the plate in a 3-1 game. Ronnie is singled and grounded out. He takes low and inside from Ayala, ball 1. So the Mets continuing to use their patient approach. With the starter Nova out of the game. And Paulino got all tied up and went around. It's 1-1.
You know, guys, I'm not going to disagree with Terry, obviously, but let's face it, when he had the eruption on the team after the Pirates game, and then the next day they're down 7-0 to Paul Maholm, they won that game. I thought that was a pretty big one as well.
That's a very good point, Kev. I think that sent a message that the skipper wasn't going to. They were losing ball games at that point in the 7th inning in barrelfuls.
Well, that was right before they went to Milwaukee, right?
Yeah, yes, it was.
So Kevin made an excellent point there.
You know, earlier in the season they had come back from 7, but weren't able to complete the deal. They did it against the Pirates.
And they had that game against the Phillies. They were down 7-0 and came back and lost. Bay at first and nobody out. 1-2 to Paulino.
They're going to stay inside on Paulino.
Not where he wanted it.
Nope.
Paulino fouls it off, and that'll make it into the stands. Notice Teixeira never gives up on a ball.
No.
Every ball that's hit in foul territory, he makes sure it's in the crowd before he breaks down.
He happens to never give up when he's running the bases with 2 outs either.
Yeah, I think we saw that.
Yeah, didn't we?
A couple
that
of years ago.
Bases loaded. Wasn't he the back runner on that drop pop up?
It was the winning run. It's a lively crowd, isn't it?
It's awesome. Love it.
2-2 now to Polino with Ruben Tejada on deck. Pitcher spot behind him. And you have to figure that Mets will bat for Nice. Mets have plenty of left-handed bats on the bench. Duda, Martinez, Tolle, Pridey, all available from the left side. There's Fernando, who had an at-bat yesterday in Detroit. And the slider in for a call, strike 3. Polino didn't think so, but Jerry Lane calling that wide strike a couple of times. And that's the first out of the inning.
Well, I think it's 1-2 close to take with 2 strikes. And all set up, you're on it with the 3 straight pounders inside.
Well, I'll tell you, that side of the plate you might get a little bit from Jerry Lane, but none on the other side of the plate. But still, the Mets have been getting those calls because they've been having a good eye. I thought that ball was outside. But you're right, Keith, 2 strikes.
Tough to take.
Yep. So 1 out and 1 on. Here's Tejada as Pedro Beato gets ready in the Mets bullpen, and Lucas Duda has come out on deck to pinch hit for Nice. Tejada's driven in the only Met run with a 2nd inning single. And then his last time up in the 4th, A-Rod went behind the bag at 3rd, fell into foul territory, and made a jumping throw to get him. Well, Nice hung in very nicely after giving up 3 runs in the 1st inning. But it appears his night is done, barring a double play.
Or a home run.
Here's the thing, though. As much as you'd love to see a 2-run homer from Tejada, the last thing the Mets want to do is see him swinging for it.
I'm just making a point.
Well made.
It'll be quite a call.
You've seen it all, right?
Hey, we called Santana's home run.
Yes. You did.
It's a group effort. We're a team here. We share. 2-1 now to Tejada.
Look at that outfield defense. Gardner way over in the gap. Granderson way in, way over in the right center field, and Swisher way in and down the right field line.
Line down the right field line. Foul.
And that's the way I would defend Tejada.
Well, you got tons of speed out there now with Gardner in left and Granderson in center.
That is an extreme shade. Can't say shade. That is a dark side of the moon to opposite field.
Well, Granderson's been playing very shallow in center field against everybody, but particularly against Tejada. Now the 2-2 and a full count. So all 3 hitters in this inning against Ayala working deep counts. They walked on a 3-2 pitch. Polino got it to 2-2 and then was caught looking on the slider trying to get to 3-2. And now it's 3-2 to Tejada with Duda on deck to pinch hit. It's Reyes behind him.
They runs. Tejada bounces one to third. A-Rod stays back on it. Takes his time and Teixeira with a nice scoop for the second out.
In fact, A-Rod's timing was off on that play from the very beginning.
A-Rod has made 2 really weak throws. I wonder if something's wrong with his arm because. Boy, here's a great angle. Look at this. Bottom up, kids. Look at that glove wide open and go out and reach from the bottom and go towards the ball and up. That is sweet. That's why that man's won the gold more than a few times.
Well, Joe Girardi takes the baseball from Luis Ayala with Duda announced as the pinch hitter. And the Yankees will go to Corey Wade to try and get the last out of the inning. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Metro PCS. Right now, get $50 off any phone when you add a line for just $35 a month only at Metro PCS. try and get the final out of the bottom of the 6th.
Started the season in Durham with the Tampa Bay Rays, then was released and signed by the Yankees in early June.
In his career, left-handers are hitting .222 against him, and as you saw in that graphic, no hits by lefties against him this year in 5 outings. So he's brought on to face Duda.
7 at-bats.
With a runner at second and 2 out. First pitch changeup misses high and away for ball 1. Duda got the start yesterday in Detroit and had a triple, his first in the big leagues, in 4 at-bats. Reyes would be next. Beato ready to pitch in the 7th. Duda batting for Nice. Another good changeup by Wade that's 1-1. And that's how it gets lefties out.
Bottom just drops out. That's the circle grip. And just turns it over.
Wade spent part of 08 and 09 with the Dodgers. Had some real success there, but then he hurt his arm, was out most of last year. Fastball for a strike, and it's 1-2. Day at second and 2 down, and Duda pops one up. Shallow left center, and Granderson calling. And that retires the side. Mets get a leadoff walk. Can't bring Bay around through 6. Still 3-1 Yankees. The video recap is brought to you by Time Warner Cable, Roadrunner Broadband. Mark Teixeira had the big hit in the first inning, a 2-run double before John Neese could record it out. Robinson Cano followed with an opposite field double of his own. Yankees scored 3 in the first. And those runs have stood up as we go to the 7th. 3-1 Yankees as Pedro Beato takes over for John Neese.
Well, he has thrown over his last few outings much better, throwing strikes, but got touched up from a home run from Johnny Peralta in his last outing against the Detroit Tigers.
And he'll be facing Curtis Granderson, Mark Teixeira, and Alex Rodriguez in the 7th inning. Neese went 6 through 101 pitches, allowed 3 runs and 9 hits. Walked 2, struck out 7, had some jams to pitch out of after giving up those 3 runs in the first inning, and did an awfully good job keeping his team in the game. Granderson tonight is 1 for 3, single to right in the first, scored a run, then he struck out twice.
These close games always seem to come down to the same thing. Who pitches better in these middle relief roles?
the way, as the Mets go to their bullpen for the first time tonight, there is news regarding Taylor Buchholz, who's been on the disabled list for about a month because of shoulder fatigue. Buchholz's shoulder is fine now, but he's still back home because he is suffering from depression and anxiety, something that Taylor said he experienced last year when he was with the Rockies as well. He was treated with medication, but it has resurfaced, and they've recently changed his medication, and they're recommending that Buchholz not engage in baseball activity until he adjusts to the new medication. So we wish Taylor Buchholz all the best as he tries to get himself in order. Buchholz was an important piece of the Mets bullpen early in the season. That nasty curveball. Too high to Granderson, 1-2. And Beato just missed. 2-2.
Pedro thought he had it. Might have just broke around the corner. If that hit the block, he's got him. That was a pitch.
Swing and a miss, came right back with the breaking ball, and he strikes out Granderson. 1 out of the 7.
Well, he moved it over about 4 inches and made sure it was a strike. This one even had later and more break as it eludes Granderson.
Third time Granderson's been struck out today. He's now fanned 82 times this year. It's still the one hole in his game. So 1 out and nobody on. Here's Teixeira, who has the biggest hit in this game, an opposite field double in the first. Now batting left-handed for the first time. His numbers have been about the same, lefty and righty. A few points higher right-handed. About 2/3 of his home runs have come left-handed, as you might expect. Get more at-bats lefty and at Yankee Stadium. You know. I did not see it, but I've been told that there was a very interesting study done today, putting the footprint of Citi Field on top of the footprint of Yankee Stadium in terms of the dimensions, and plotting the home runs that the Yankees have hit at home this year. And the result was that 48% of the home runs the Yankees hit at home this year would not have been home runs at Citi Field.
Wow.
That's a lot, right?
Yeah.
48%.
Certainly.
I wouldn't have thought it was going to be quite that much.
That being said, this guy can hit it out of any stadium. But it's interesting, he has just about the same approach from the left side as the right side. That wide open stance, both eyes on the pitcher. More of an uppercut from the left-hand side.
The odds are now behind 3-1, and he walked him. So Teixeira walks for the second time. If you're thinking it, they're saying it, and saying it, and saying it. Mint, Howard, Mocker, and Lionel. Find out what New York is really talking about tonight on the Pix 11 News at 10, right after the game. Alex Rodriguez tonight 1 for 3, a pop fly single in the third. He's grounded out in his other 2 at bats. Teixeira at first and 1 out. And A-Rod takes a fastball for a strike.
That tied him up pretty good right there. That sinker down there. Watch how this ball sinks and gets under the bat. Very difficult to get squared up. So Beato is ahead 0-2.
And Rodriguez strikes out of the high heat. 2 down. Second strikeout for Beato.
You know, you get inside on a hitter, and he's a little late, and he wants to gear up a little more for that next fastball. Sometimes you go out of the strike zone. That's what happened to Alex.
So 2 out. Teixeira still at first, and now Cano twice has hit the ball the other way. 2 for 3. A single and a double. But then in the 6th inning, he was at third base when Nunez hit a pop fly to center that Reyes did not catch coming down over his shoulder. Caught it on a hop going away. Cano thought he had caught it, went back to third, didn't score.
And he hits it hard, and Murphy somehow gets a piece of it and makes the play like a matador. An incredible stop by Murphy on a bullet. And now the Mets will have the top of the batting order, and that means Reyes to try and get them regenerated and come back from down by 2 as they bat in the 7th.
Time to take a Dunkin' Donuts coffee break. Remember to get dunked. Go to getdunked.com. That's GETDUNKD.com. Sold out house here at Citi Field. It's been quite a ball game. Jose Reyes takes a first pitch curveball for a strike from Corey Wade as we start the bottom of the 7th. Reyes 1 for 3 tonight. An infield hit back at the first, then grounded out twice against Ivan Nova. Wade came on to get the final out of the 6th. Stays on for the 7th. Ball to strike to Reyes with Turner and Beltran to follow. Has been fighting uphill all night.
Both corners in again on Jose. The threat of the drag bunt.
Line base hit. And Reyes has yet another multi-hit game. Every day. Every day. That's 43 multiple hit games for Reyes this season in his 79th game.
Well, another changeup. Reyes has seen more changeups and curveballs in this game than he did in the entire road trip.
Nicely done. Stays in, stays back. That was a good location. A little up, but a good outside location.
So now Justin Turner is 2 for 3. Single to center, single to left. Boone Logan, the lefty, is up in the Yankee bullpen with Beltran and Murphy to follow. Reyes not with a very big lead. 30 steals and 36 tries this year. Mets down by 2 as they bat in the 7th. Well, we said it before, last player to have multiple hit games in more than half of his games in a full season? Joe Medwick in 1937. And he's way ahead of that pace now.
Last National League Triple Crown winner.
Right. Ducky Medwick. Carlos Beltran on deck. Daniel Murphy behind him. Mets have left 8 runners on base. They had the bases loaded in the 5th, didn't score. Got the leadoff man on in the 6th and didn't score. Now they've got Reyes aboard leading off the 7th as Jason Isringhausen gets up in the Mets bullpen. Big hole on that right side for Turner to shoot at. Reyes not getting a very big lead in this spot. Turner hits one out to center field, hit well. Back goes Granderson. He's got room. Reyes tagging at first, and he takes second. And now he's heading for third. The throw by Cano, and Reyes is out. Reyes aggressively trying to take third, and it was Eduardo Nunez who went out and made the throw as Terry Collins has been ejected from the game. Reyes felt as though A-Rod never tagged him. And Terry Collins pleading his case as much as he could with Jerry Lane before he finally got ejected.
Well, this whole play came about because Cano lackadaisically goes after the ball. Nunez, excuse me. Did he tag him?
And that's that play. The home plate umpire has got to hustle to third. Did not get in a good position to see this missed tag by Alex Rodriguez.
Should be a good view here. And it does not look, I don't know.
Boy, it's closer than I thought when I first saw it, though.
Reyes went back to tag on the fly ball to deep center and made second easily. And then as Nunez went kind of lazily after the ball, Reyes figured he could beat him to third, but did not. So 2 out and nobody on.
Well, ill-advised by Jose whether he gets there or not. His team is down 2 runs.
And you get your own power hitter up.
Let's look at one more time. I don't think he got it.
And even if he didn't, see A-Rod sold it, though, to Jerry Lane. Came up with the glove in the umpire's face. I got him. Well, he sold it well.
Yeah. And you can see on the freeze frame, there's no way in the world to tag it. 3-1 now to Beltran.
Well, that is a huge turn of events in this ball game.
Terry Collins ejected for the 2nd time this season, and you can understand his frustration. Now it's 3-1 to Beltran with 2 out and nobody on. And there's ball 4, so the Mets will get the tying run to the plate again.
Gary, that's not considered a double play. You wouldn't know, right?
No, it's a fly ball to center and a 6-5 put out at third base. Here comes Joe Girardi. He's at the left-hander Boone Logan warming up with an eye toward Murphy, and he will bring Logan into the game. A little mishandle on the exchange there. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Metro PCS. Right now, get $50 off any phone when you add a line for just $35 a month only at Metro PCS. We'll be right back. West 18th Street in New York City. Adorama, more than just a camera score, and there is your freeze frame.
Well, you know who had the best angle of anybody in the ballpark was Chip Hale, and he immediately got into Jerry Lane's face.
It's hard for the home plate umpire on that play because he's got a long way to go to get himself into position to make that call at third.
See Logan's numbers. Those walks are not good for 19 and third innings pitched. Been better of late.
Murphy, the tying run at the plate, fouls off the first pitch breaking ball, 0-1.
Boy, he got a hanger right there.
Murphy homered yesterday in Detroit. It was the first home run by a Mets cleanup hitter since May 5th. May 5th. Almost 2 months without a home run from the cleanup hitter. David Robertson up in the bullpen. He's been the setup man for Rivera. And Murphy can't lay off the breaking ball, and it's 0-2. The Yankees have lost so much bullpen since the year began, even before the year began. Pedro Feliciano going down in spring training. And losing Soriano and Thomas Marte's out for the year, and on and on and on. So they've had to patch it together. Robertson has been the key bridge. 1-2 now to Murphy. Angel Pagan would be next. Well, the Mets ran themselves out of a couple of opportunities yesterday in Detroit. And on a controversial call, they run themselves out of a chance here in the 7th, but now provided a new chance with the walk to Beltran. And that just missed away, 2-2. 94 from Logan?
I don't remember him throwing that hard.
Well, he also missed by 2 feet.
Yeah. That was a show-me pitch. He didn't want to throw that first strike. Back to the breaking ball.
Burdack and Isringhausen both up in the Mets bullpen. Now the 2-2 to Murphy. And did he go around? He did. Strike 3. And the inning is over. So Logan comes in to get the left-hand hitter and does just that. Murphy did not think that he swung, and he beefs at Jerry Lane, who's heard plenty from the Mets here in the 7th. In theaters July 8th. Pedro Beato out for a second inning of work. Struck out 2 in a hitless 7th. Russell Martin leads off in the 8th. Brett Gardner on deck. And with the left-hand hitter on deck, Tim Burdack is up at the bullpen, so this could be Beato's only batter here in the 8th. Gardner came in as a pinch runner for Andrew Jones, stayed in the game in left field. Martin is 0 for 2 and a walk, and he takes ball 1. Weiss is grounded out to third. second time in the third inning. He batted with a runner at third and 2 out, and the ball took a bad hop on Justin Turner, who made quite an adjustment to grab it with his bare hand and throw him out. 1-1 to Martin. John Meese went the first 6, allowed 3 runs and 9 hits, and is on the hook in this game. Yankees got all their runs in the first inning.
Oh,
and a breaking ball for a strike. 1-2 to Martin.
I'll tell you what, Beato has rediscovered his sinker, and this curveball has been outstanding tonight.
Now the 1-2, and Martin lays off that curve. 2-2. Pedro Beato grew up in Queens, got a taste of the Subway Series in the Bronx in May, and now for the first time in his home ballpark. Off the plate to Martin. 3-2. Good grip by Martin.
That's the four-seamer right there. The Beato came no sink upstairs.
Yeah, I like him on a 3-2 pitch because he's going to probably throw a fastball. I think that 2-seamer better. Down, keep it down, get a ground ball.
If you're going to throw that four-seamer, get it out of the strike. Well, he couldn't. It's 3-2. Boy, oh boy.
There we go. Back to the sinker.
And he pounds it into the ground. Broke his bat as Reyes slides over. And it's dropped by Murphy. Went right through the glove of Daniel Murphy. And the Yankees have a leadoff base runner. And the Mets are just killing themselves with mistakes right now.
Well, the mistake here that Daniel makes is that you got a slow runner and you don't have to take a stride, a stretch. And he's stretched. You can kind of just stand tall, and it gives you a little bit more altitude to catch that ball, or elevation. You know, Daniel's not a first baseman by trade. And there's Obi.
Ken Oberfeld, the Mets bench coach, coming out to make the pitching change with Terry Collins having been ejected. Burdack comes in to face Gardner. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Metro PCS. Right now, get $50 off any phone when you add a line for just $35 a month, only at Metro PCS. day.
You can see his numbers here. That first game in Detroit, of course. Famous game now. Gave up that home run to Andy Dirks.
Turner in looking for the bunt as Burdack throws to first. Gardner batting for the first time. He's had himself a nice season. Hitting a .274. He's been doing most of the leadoff hitting with Jeter out of the lineup. We'll see how Joe Girardi plays it here.
And Turner's going to have to take it away because this man has the most speed in the American League.
And he tries to drag one off the mound. Burdack, the quick toss, and he gets him at first. So the sacrifice successful for Gardner, who was trying for a one-base hit with the drag.
And almost got it too.
By the way, yesterday Manny Acosta made a tremendous defensive play on a bunt, and in so doing he suffered a contusion to his right wrist. He's not available today, and Terry Collins said they're not going to go the whole weekend one short of the bullpen, so they'll assess tomorrow, and it might well be that Acosta winds up on the disabled list, but tonight they are a man short. Burdack leaves. Parnell will come in. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Metro PCS. Right now get $50 off any phone when you add a line for just $35 a month only at Metro PCS. Some of the images from the opening game of this series at a sold-out Citi Field. This game began like it might be one of those 15-9 games. All the runs scored in the first 2 innings. Bobby Parnell now brought in to try and put out a fire in the 8th.
And coming off probably his most dominating performance in his last game, reaching 103 miles per hour.
Here's Eduardo Nunez, who's 3 for 3 today. A bunt hit, an opposite field double, and a pop fly that created some confusion on the base paths. That fell for a base hit. Ramiro Pena has come out on deck to pinch hit, as Nunez, the number 8 hitter, looks for his 4th hit of the day, trying to pick up Martin from second base. And Parnell ready to go. Bobby in his last outing at Detroit was clocked at 103 miles an hour on a couple of occasions. Dave Robertson getting ready in the bullpen. There's Ramiro Pena on deck to pinch hit. When you're clocked at 103, where do you go from there?
Hit sharply toward the middle, and Nunez has another hit. Martin turns third. He'll come in to score, and the Yankees stretch their lead to 4-1.
Well, that's a big one right there.
So the Murphy error comes back to bite the Mets. Nunez drives in Martin, and the Yankees now have a 3-run lead. Nunez has his first career 4-hit game.
Well, on a day the Yankees play a rare interleague game without Jeter, the replacement 4 for 4.
High fastball, too much plate. Wants it away. Ready right down Broadway. Nice getting on top of that high fastball.
Now with the runner at first base, Joe Girardi calls Pena back. He's going to have his pitcher Boone Logan come up to bat in a bunting situation. We saw Ivan Nova pick up his first career sacrifice earlier in the game. Now Logan. And he gets the bunt down. So good bunting by Yankee pitchers, inexperienced in doing so. Second sacrifice bunt of the inning, and the third of the night for the Yankees, moving Nunez up a base. It's Logan's first career plate appearance.
Well, the Yankees doing everything right, all the little things. It's why they've been winning ball games.
So another runner in scoring position with 2 down. Here's Nick Swisher, who's 1 for 4, singled and scored back in the first, where the Yankees scored their first 3 runs. Since then, he struck out twice and into a fielder's choice. That run, an unearned run, is charged to Pedro Beato. Now Swisher batting left-handed for the first time today, hitting just .213 as a left-hand batter this year. 125 points higher from the right side. That's as wide a split as we've seen for a switch hitter this year.
Defense, not a huge shift on the right-hand side. Reyes shaded up the middle.
Oh, threw it by him.
I wonder with Swisher as a left-hand batter whether sometimes that short porch in right field might work to his detriment.
Boy, I totally agree, because the first year he had that short porch, Gary, he was outstanding. That can get in your head.
Well, there's 81 games you play away from that stadium, too.
Well, he just took a cut like a home run hitter.
Another one, too.
99 miles an hour from Parnell.
And he's not getting the head out.
This ball's by him. But at 99, going to be by a few people.
I think I'd stay with that fastball.
You have to. He hasn't proven he can get around. Throw it up, too. Up out of the strike zone.
He got him. 100 miles an hour from Parnell to get Swisher, who strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. But the Yankees get an unearned run and now have a 3-run lead. Citibank can help you write it. Past the Old Apple and in toward the Jackie Robinson Rotunda. And the ballpark sold out tonight. A new Citi Field record, 42,020 on hand tonight for the opener of this 3-game weekend series, starting off the July 4th weekend. It's been a very interesting ball game to watch, but the Mets on the short end as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Chris Dickerson will play right field. He'll bat 9th, and the new pitcher David Robertson will bat leadoff.
Well, if you take a look at all the relief pitchers in a minimum of 30 innings, he has the lowest ERA. Look at the strikeouts in innings pitched, only 20 walks, and he's been a guy who has not always started innings for Joe Girardi. He's a guy that has come in and stopped rallies.
Well, he was supposed to be the 7th inning guy this year with Rafael Soriano signed to be the 8th inning guy, but Soriano struggled and then got hurt. They might have him back eventually, but for right now, Robertson doing a great job setting up for Rivera. Angel Pagan thinks bunt, takes high, ball 1. Angel is 0 for 3. Fly to left, grounded to short, struck out. By the way, if you were thinking of coming to the game tomorrow and you don't have a ticket, the Mets have just announced that a limited number of standing room tickets will go on sale tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock at the ticket window at the Jackie Robinson Rotunda.
Does that entice you, Gary?
Line the other way. Gardner toward the line, and he gets there. He can just fly, can't he? When that ball was first hit, it looked like a hit, but Gardner rushing over.
That's a sure double with any other left fielder except Gart.
Speed kills. And they had him shaded over there too, properly.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Jason Bay, who's 1 for 2 in a walk, singled and scored the only Met run back in the 2nd.
When Robertson first came up, really had a straight fastball, good overhand curve. You see DJ Carrasco up. Spent some time in that bullpen with Rivera and has developed an outstanding cutter.
How could you not?
That's right.
Learning from the master. Robertson now 26 years old, and he's got himself quite a future. Rivera getting ready for the 9th. And Bay fouls it off, 1-2. Yankees have used 5 pitchers today. Joe Girardi pulled his starter Ivan Nova for a pinch hitter in the 6th. That didn't work out because Posada struck out. But his bullpen has been solid. Ayala walked a batter in 2/3 of an inning. Wade gave up a single and a walk in 2/3 of an inning. Logan struck out the only man to face him and got a bunt down that helped produce a run. And now Robertson pitching the 8th. Ahead on Bay, 1-2. And Jason stops the swing. Oh, he went around. Tough call by Bob Davison. And Bay is down on strikes.
Let's take a peek. Well, yeah, I got to think Bob made the right call there.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Ronnie Polino, 1 for 3 on the day, singled back in the 2nd. Mets have had 8 hits today. They've left 9 runners on base. And probably just as important, they had a runner erased in a key spot in the last inning. At the time, it was a 3-1 game. Reyes on first and nobody out. Turner hits a fly ball to center for the first out. Reyes properly tags and takes second, and then aggressively tries to take third as the ball got loose. Thrown out on what might have been a phantom tag for the 2nd out of the inning. And Reyes still thinking about that.
And you've got a manager in the clubhouse who got ejected on that play.
Molino lofts one to left, and back goes Gardner to grab it. And the Mets are down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 8th. On to the 9th we go with the Yankees up 4-1. It's a network built to bring you more of everything you love, more HD, more internet speed, and more control of your entertainment. Fios, a network ahead. Call 1-888-GET-FIOS. That's a new battery in the game as we go to the ninth. Josh Thole will catch and bat ninth. And the new pitcher, DJ Carrasco, will hit seventh in the order.
Well, Carrasco's got a lot of work of late, but here important to not allow another run, keep the Mets as close as they are.
It's a final in Atlanta. Jair Jurgens has thrown a one-hit shutout, and the Braves have beaten the Orioles. Final score there was 4-0. So if the Mets don't rally in this game, they'll be 6.5 behind Atlanta. And you know, in one respect, it's awfully early to be looking at the wild card race, but in another respect, we're now in July, and Sandy Alderson has to watch the standings and the calendar to try and figure out what's going to transpire for this team over the next few weeks.
You know, you play good baseball, you win games, but the people in front of you just will seem to win every day.
That's 4 straight wins, 9 of 11 for Atlanta. And Jurgens pitching a gem tonight, a complete game one-hitter. He walked 1 and struck out 8. Curtis Granderson leads off in the ninth. Granderson singled and scored in the first. Since then, he struck out 3 times. Met pitchers have struck out 10 tonight. And Granderson takes in tight from Carrasco. East went the first 6, allowed 3 runs and 9 hits. Pedro Beato charged with an unearned run in an inning plus. Jim Burdack got an out. Bobby Parnell got 2 outs. And now Carrasco behind Granderson 2-0 with Teixeira and A-Rod to follow in the top of the ninth. And Rivera getting ready for the Yankees. Carrasco worked an inning and 2/3 yesterday in Detroit and did not allow a hit. And he walks Granderson on 4 pitches to lead off the ninth. Well, the Yankees have had the leadoff man on all day. That's 6 times in 9 innings now. And here's Teixeira, who has been on base 3 times. He had the 2-run double back in the first that gave the Yankees the lead. Since then, he's walked twice. He's also flied out. Teixeira, the major league leader in home runs with 25. And the curveball from Carrasco bends in 0-2. It is 300th career home run yesterday as A-Rod waits to follow. He has 626 major league home runs. There goes Granderson, and Teixeira pops it up.
Boy, did Granderson get a jump.
And it's a mile high, and Pagan finally has it come down in his glove for the first down.
Boy, did he get a jump. Oh.
Now Teixeira with 2 strikes had no choice but to put the ball in play. So 1 out and 1 on. Here's Rodriguez, 1 for 4, a bloop single back in the third. The Yankees have 10 hits. The Mets have 8. The Mets have made the only error. That one led to a Yankee run.
A-Rod doesn't like it upstairs out of the strike zone, up and in.
When he's going good, Keith, he takes that pitch.
Right.
Coming up next on Picks, it's the Picks 11 News. Somewhat after 10. And next on SNY is Lincoln post-game live. A-Rod again chases a high pitch, and it's 0-2.
Keep feeding him that. He's swinging to a foot under it. He's way under.
Let's see if he goes upstairs again. Thole stands up. It's a little high. 1-2. Robinson Cano on deck. That's a relatively recent phenomenon, isn't it? Catchers standing up when they want that high pitch. Well, I mean, it was an old thing, but
it's been renewed. Yeah, I don't honestly like it. I mean, as a pitcher, I don't need you to stand up. I'm not throwing off you. I'm throwing at about neck high of the hitter. I don't need you to stand up. And I don't want to tip off anyone else.
High drive, deep left center. Pagan back, takes a look, and it's off the wall. Granderson around third. He's coming home. The relay throw by Reyes, and he's safe. A-Rod almost had himself a 2-run homer. Hit off the Great Wall of Flushing for an RBI double, and it's 5-1.
Well, this is the high fence here. Almost out. Perfect throw, relay in. Played perfectly by Pagan. Granderson rounded after he rounded second base, thought it was out. Keep an eye on him here.
Well, he just got his hand on the back point of the plate. Totally went back and tagged him a second time just to make sure that he hadn't missed it.
And Carrasco and Toley went to the well just one too many times.
They looked so bad on those high pitches earlier in the at-bat. But for A-Rod, he now has 1,883 RBIs for a reason.
If you watch his swing on that last pitch, he just shortened up. He kind of took like a tiny swing.
I just see that when he connects, the ball really just jumps off his bat. He's so strong.
So the Mets intentionally walking Robinson Cano to fill the empty base, and they'll bring up Russell Martin with 2 men on. And the Yankee fans starting to take over the noise content at Citi Field.
Starting to gloat.
You mentioned the absence of Derek Jeter in this series, and it's so odd for him not to be here because he's been the one constant in all of these Mets-Yankees games since the beginning in 1997. I mean, it was Jeter who struck out for the final out against Dave Malicki in that first ever Subway Series game in '97.
But you have Reyes so hot, gets a couple of hits. Story's going to be Nunez with his 4 hits.
So here's Martin, who's 0 for 3 and a walk, and takes the breaking ball for a strike. Martin last time up at a routine ground ball to short. Reyes' throw to first was a little high, but not very high, and Daniel Murphy had to go right through his glove for an error, and that led to an unearned run. And that one gets behind Toley, and that'll move the runners to second and third. Well, Mets have had trouble catching the ball this year behind the plate. Polino had a pass ball earlier in the game, and Toley just missed that one. They call it a wild pitch, but that's got to be on the catcher. The catcher to block it. So now 2 in scoring position, and the Mets have to bring the infield in. 1-1 the count to Martin. And that's on the corner. A ball and 2 strikes. Carrasco drops down, and Martin pops it up. Playable for Murphy, and that's a big second out. Runners will hold at second and third as Murphy runs it back. So Carrasco dropping the arm angle and getting the pop up from Martin. 2 out. So now Brett Gardner will bat for the second time. He's sacrificed in the 8th inning. Let's see if the Mets pitch to him. You got the right hand hitting Nunez on deck. Of course, Nunez is 4 for 4 today, so you might want to just go ahead and face Gardner. Rodriguez at third and Cano at second with 2 out. A run is in for the Yankees in the 9th. They lead 5-1. And Gardner takes the backdoor breaking ball outside, 1-0. Carrasco walked the leadoff hitter Granderson on 4 pitches to put himself in immediate jeopardy. Granderson came around to score on A-Rod's long double. That's about as far as you can hit a ball in a major league ballpark and not get a home run.
You're right.
Considering the distance and the height of that ball. About 14 feet up on that wall. Little dribbler back to Carrasco. And he gets Gardner to end the inning. But the Yankees tack on a run, and they'll take a 4-run lead into the bottom of the 9th with Tejada due to lead off. To you by the Nissan 4th of July sales event celebrated save today. Hurry, event ends July 5th. By the New York Lottery, when you scratch and play New York Lottery instant games, good things happen in an instant, so be ready. By Cadillac, visit CadillacTristate.com to view their attractive lease and finance offers and find a dealer near you. By Time Warner Cable, Roadrunner Broadband. By Toyota. Toyota offers fuel efficiency you'll love, only better. And by T-Mobile's family plan with unlimited data, text, and talk. Well, we go to the bottom of the 9th inning with the Yankees up 5-1. The Mets with the largest crowd in Citi Field history, but a couple of key mistakes here and there, failure to execute in big spots, and they find themselves 4 runs in arrears.
Well, I think if you look at the game, they're going to talk about the Reyes play maybe and the 4 hits by Nunez. But Murphy hitting the double play in the first when they had a chance to really fire right back. And then maybe the strikeout of Pagan with the bases loaded.
And the Yankees have shown why they've been hot and taken over the lead in the American League East. They've done everything right.
Hector Noesi brought in to pitch the 9th inning with the save situation gone. With the Yankees having a run in the 9th. Ruben Tejada leads off. He's driven in the only Met run today. And the Yankees got 3 off John Neese in the first inning before Neese could settle in, and ultimately that's been enough. Slow ground ball, and Cano is in to grab it. 1 away. Tomorrow Dylan G will pitch for the Mets. Got a victory despite not pitching all that great in his homecoming start in Texas. He had no control and walked 6 in the start before that, so a couple of uneven starts in a row for G, and so this is going to be a big one on a big stage for him tomorrow.
Big stage against a pitcher, Colon, coming off an injury, but if he pitches anyway like he was pitching before the injury, G will have to be on top of his game.
The injury was not to his arm, it was a hamstring for Colon, as Josh Tolley batting for the first time takes a strike. Tolley came in on the double switch in the last inning. He's been really swinging the bat so much better the last 3 weeks. But quickly, Noesi's ahead of him, 0-2. Well, the Yankees have patched it together with 6 pitchers today. Ivan Nova, the starter, certainly could have gone further than 5 innings, but Joe Girardi going to his bench in a bases loaded situation with Posada to pinch hit for Nova, and that's worked out for him because his bullpen has been spotless. I was only kidding when I said Posada went home. It was you know, it was an expression.
Oh,
take
yeah,
your
like,
bat and go home.
Yep, I got you.
But he didn't really go home. He just went to the clubhouse and he came back to the dugout.
But in this intercity series, you can go home, even though you're on the road.
You know, you can't go home again.
Tom Wolfe.
Nicely done. 2-2 in the dirt. 3-2 to Tolley with Reyes on deck.
Well, they tell you never to turn away from the ball. You have to go get it, because if you do, it'll come underneath and catch you in the throat sometimes. And it did. Martin's tough, I guess, though.
Just in case, Mariano Rivera staying ready in the Yankee bullpen. Three-two to Tolley. Pulled toward the hole. Base hit. And so the Mets have life in the ninth. Their 9th hit of the night. And Reyes coming up with a man on. Jose, another multiple hit game tonight. His 43rd of the year. An infield hit in the first. And then he singled to center in the 7th, but wound up being called out at third. Trying to take an extra base in that inning. Well, here comes Girardi.
Wow.
It is not a safe situation, is it? It's not. But he's bringing Rivera in anyway, just to be safe. So Rivera will try and get the final 2 outs with the Yankees up 5-1. We'll be right back. Girardi brings in Mariano Rivera and his 580 career saves to try and get the final 2 outs.
And 1,012 appearances, Gary. Greatest closer of all time.
He's second on the all-time saves list to Trevor Hoffman. He might catch him this year. Hoffman retired with 601, and Mariano needs 21 more to catch him. And this is interesting. Jose Reyes is going to bat right-handed against Rivera and his cutter.
And he's done it before and gotten a base hit.
Reyes is 1 for 8 in his career against Rivera. He bats here with Tolle at first and 1 out. Mets down 5-1 as they bat in the bottom of the ninth. Turner and Beltran behind Reyes, who's 2 for 4 tonight. And Jose lifts one down the right field side. Dickerson over, but it's in the crowd. 0-1. So Joe Girardi has used 7 pitchers in this game. A game in which he has given up only 1 run. Nova went 5. Ayala, Wade, Logan, Robertson, Noesi, and now Rivera have followed. So he's used everybody in his bullpen except the newcomer Sergio Mitre. 0-2 to Reyes. Jose with his 2 hits today at the .353 for the year. Turner on deck. Now the 0-2 for Mariano, and he bounced it foul.
.93 miles an hour from Rivera. That's a little north of what he's been throwing most of the year, mostly in the 90 to 92 range.
Pretty good for a 41-year-old.
Unbelievable.
How long can he keep it up? Like a machine. Little tapper. A-Rod makes the play to first. Low throw, and Teixeira scoops another one. That's 2 of them he's had to pick out of the dirt on A-Rod.
3 very questionable throws by A-Rod here, and the one great throw he made was the toughest play of them all when he had to make the backhand in foul territory and threw a strike across the field. Nice scoop again. Nice easy short hop.
So the Mets are down to their final out with Tolle in second and 2 down. Here's Turner, who's 2 for 4 on the day. Mets have had plenty of base runners, 9 hits and 4 walks, but they've converted them into only 1 run. They've left 9 runners on base. So Turner, the final hope for the Mets. And he takes low for ball 1. G against Colon tomorrow. We'll be back with you on Sunday when Ari Dickey makes the start against Freddie Garcia in the final game of the series. At the knees for a strike, 1-1 to Turner. Beltran would be next. And a strike to Turner, 1-2. Welcome to Marianaville. Tight. 2-2. Turner trying to keep the Mets alive. And he lines a base hit. Tolle will go to third and stop there. And now the Mets need just 1 more base runner to get the tying run to the plate. So with the Mets down to their final strike, Turner keeps it alive with his 3rd hit of the day.
Well, he's just leaving that cutter out over the plate.
So now Beltran, who's walked twice and singled to right, 1 for 2.
Nice at bat by Turner. 3 hits on the night.
Beltran's had a little bit of luck against Mariano, 3 for 13 in his career. And he bats right-handed and takes a strike. Well, the Mets obviously had their strategy going into this, that their switch hitters were going to bat right-handed against Mariano Rivera. Reyes did, and now Beltran is. Turner runs, and it's right back to Rivera, and that'll do it. The Yankees take the opening game of this Subway Series and have beaten the Mets 3 out of 4 this year. 3 runs in the first inning off John Neese, and the Yankees use 7 pitchers to make it stand up for a 5-1 Yankee victory.
Well, as far as the pitching concerned, sneak attack on Jonathan Neese in the first inning by the Yankees, an unearned run in the 8th. Carrasco giving up a run in the 9th, and that was enough, Keith, for the Yankees today.
And the Mets, like you said, they left 11 men on base in this ball game, had their opportunities, but you know, the Yankees did all the little things, got the hits in the right spot. Their pitchers did sacrifice twice in this game. They don't hit very much during the season. So 2 hot ball clubs here in the opener, and the Yankees come away victorious.
Each team left 11 runners on base. Not a save for Rivera, but he does finish it up. As Joe Girardi and the Yankees come in and get a victory for the Mets, dropping the Mets back to 500. And for the Yankees, that's 16 wins in their last 20 games. The game summary brought to you by the New York Lottery. Good things happen in an instant, so be ready. Mark Teixeira had the 2-run double in the first inning that provided the keynote. John Neese settled in nicely after giving up the 3 in the first inning, got himself out of a couple of jams. But likewise, Ivan Nova able to work out of trouble early and hold the Mets to just the 1 run for the 5-1 Yankee victory. Next Picks telecast will be after the All-Star break when the Mets play the Phillies July 17th at 1 o'clock. Next SNY telecast will be Sunday for the final game of this series. Mets and Yankees. R.A. Dickey against Freddie Garcia at 12:30. Coming up next, it's the Picks 11 News. Now for Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez, and Kevin Burkhardt, I'm Gary Cohen from Citi Field. We'll see you Sunday on SNY.